Welcome everybody to the CrossFire podcast. When you've got this many people on the show, it's hard to get everyone to calm down. It's almost like we threw a surprise birthday party for ourselves. We're like, all right, everybody, shh, here we go. We're getting started. No, going to be a great show tonight. We've got a lot to talk about. We've got a large panel here. I've got two great special guests. And, this took a lot of time to put together. One person joined us many, many months ago, but he's been traveling. He's been all over Europe. He's done things from Gamescom. Maybe we'll tap into a little bit of his stories across his path across Europe. Let me start with the one, the only Jez. I'll start with Jez. I'll do my special guest first, and then I'll go to my usual suspects. Jez, welcome to the show, buddy. And, we missed you, man. I got to be honest with you. There's nothing like Jez with a splash of bourbon on CrossFire every Friday night. How you been, brother?
Yeah, I've been good, man. Just, so busy. It's killing me slowly.
Your dream is coming true. I mean, Jez, you're doing for a living what a lot of people are just doing as podcasting for like peanuts. You guys actually get to do what we want to do.
I can't complain. It's amazing. I'm not complaining by any means, but man, I would just like a day to just unplug.
I know, right?
That's kind of why I'm here. Because
you got in here and you're like, Mooch, I'm exhausted. I'm like, I'm sorry, because and keep in mind, everybody, Jez it's 12:07 over there in England, and over here at 7 o'clock. So Jez, thank you for doing this tonight. And I think the topics.
Cool, this is my idea of relaxing. So.
That's awesome. That's the same way I think about it until somebody gets me riled.
He's over there in England. Are you guys excited for the big football game on Sunday? NFL, that is.
Football game?
Yes. He doesn't know what you're talking about.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Yeah.
Hey, come on, dude. Hey,
someone asked me.
We're saying soccer. He's football. He's thinking, what?
No. That's why I said NFL, like American football, where guys like each other.
Someone asked me earlier. Someone literally asked me earlier, is NFL big in the UK? And I was like, No. So I guess there's something happening then. I don't know.
Well, this every year they do a couple games in London. And they sell out. They're at Wembley Stadium.
Oh, really? Like what?
It just so happens that my team is over there this week, so it kind of sucks because it takes place during MC mornings. Yeah.
Crap. There's nothing worse than a gaming podcast than sports. And then the second worst thing in the world is asking someone from Europe about the NFL. That could be the worst ever translation into a podcast.
I don't even like our own sports, let alone American ones.
Yeah. See, he doesn't know anything about soccer. I would have been like, hey, how about that soccer?
Crap, that is hysterical. And plus, not just that, but who's Baltimore even playing?
They're playing the Jaguars.
And in that event, we're moving on to our next special guest because no one is going to be watching that game.
Hey, I'm going to be watching it.
Yes, of course you will. Our next special guest is Moxxie. Moxxie from G4G Media. Moxxie, welcome to the show. We had Avers on, your other half in the business, and he did quite well on Crossfire. We're going to have him back. How you been? And tell us some people about yourself.
Hey, well, thanks for having me on. I've been great, crazy busy trying to get more content out for G4G, but I appreciate the support and really excited to be here. This is an awesome panel, so I'm looking forward to it.
No, it's really great to have you on. I mean, I think you and Avers do a great job of presenting the news in a different way, a different light. I really like that. It's you guys versus like the audience kind of taking it on. And you don't just like baby the news. You spoon feed it down the right way. And I appreciate that because I think some people need to hear it put that way. And other people are just kind of like, well, blah, 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 blah. So you guys really do. And I'm actually going to hit a subject home that you guys just did a 30-minute podcast on this past week. And I think I'm going to definitely need your information on the whole Phil thing. You guys really kind of broke it down. I was impressed.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. Thank you. And let me get to my the man who's here at 6:59:59. He only eats the blue M&Ms. Crap Gamer, thanks for coming tonight, buddy.
What's up,
How are
everybody?
you?
Hey, what's up? I'm happy to be here. It's always a good time. I missed last week. I heard that there was some other people in here that kind of filled the void. So appreciate to that. I'm happy to be back. And hell, I would have loved it. I would have rather done a 24 fucking hour podcast than the shit I had to go through. But it's definitely happy to be here and power on and all that kind of good stuff. Doing videos again, doing podcasts again. It's still a little bit weird, like you were there Wednesday and we did Xbox Nation, and something a little bit off still with me. I'm not sure exactly what it is, but hopefully it gets sorted out.
Listen, it's the absence makes the heart grow fonder. A lot of people are writing us saying, "Where the hell's crap? It's not the same. We need crap. We need crap." So listen, I think a lot of the
large chat for that episode, and crap's like, "Yeah, no, I'm a little off still." Like,
he did. It takes a little while, man.
I took Mooch's example, and I went in a totally like weird direction with it. And he's like, "Yeah, that has nothing to do with what I said, dude."
Yeah, he took the ball and ran with it, but he went like Forrest Gump, where he ran right out of the stadium.
Yeah,
I was like, crap. Come back to the game.
I haven't even really gamed much, just aside from playing some Forza 7 a little bit. It's just been I've been I don't know, man, just exhausted.
You got a lot of catching up to do. Let's be honest, the first 4 days when you're out there, a lot of people don't know that, and I won't get into too much detail, but you had a lot going on as far as like living, okay? It wasn't about like hanging out. It was living.
It was like surviving and scrounging and stuff. So
in the chat,
there was a massive outbreak in the fucking kennels.
Yeah, well, I mean, that was part of it, man. Like just keeping everybody alive and stuff like that, which I did. There was a couple that were touch and go, but thanks to my car having AC and being able to kind of rotate animals in there, keep some of them cool when they got overheated and stuff. So it was a very like tough thing. I was averaging about an hour and a half hours sleep a night for like 7-8 days. So it was it's crazy. It's like crazy. I'm now. Like there's the people in Puerto Rico and stuff that are kind of going through that stuff as well. So
but they're saying like 6 months.
6 months without power in certain areas.
Hopefully, like the United States and some other people I'm sure we'll send people over to the system with that. There's no way they're going to go that long.
It's a U.S. territory, and someone can correct me if I'm wrong.
Right. Yeah, it is.
They're going to get a ton of support and rightfully.
What's funny? What we had here was we had thousands of people from California working on the power lines. I mean, they get paid well to do that. But actually, what's funny was the people from out of state were much nicer than the people in state doing. You know what I mean?
Well, the people in state, their house also got destroyed. How happy were they while they weren't whistling while they were working?
Some of them were dicks, but like for the most part, man, you just honk and buy donuts and wave to the the people that are.
It's great to see the communities come together, right? I mean, I have a lot of friends that are in Texas that are down in that Houston area, and they were like, dude, the way the community came together was just amazing. I mean, we've seen the stuff on social media, what JJ Watt did and raising 30 million plus, which is amazing. But it's some of the smaller stuff, like you just said, when like a neighbor's going by, seeing you lifting something ridiculously heavy that crushed your car, and they come over to help you. It's just. A lot of that brotherly love that you see kind of exists, and you don't see that all the time because it seems like with social media, we're so wrapped up in the quote unquote like hate or the side you're on, no matter what the debate is, whether it's gaming or politics, this, that. And then you realize when it comes down to it, it's about people. So it is good to hear that. It was a lot of refreshing stories from you, Foxy, other people that told me what they went through. So I'm just glad you guys are okay and we're all back. And like I said, we do give our best to the folks in Puerto Rico as well.
Heck yeah. You guys,
and the closest thing to Puerto Rico I have is Southbound and Down, who's here tonight. Southie, what's up, buddy?
Guess who's back in the house? What it do?
It's so good to have Southie.
I'm so very happy to be here. I miss you all.
So good. You're the only person who can be politically incorrect and still get glorious applause. I love it, Southie. He's got protection. He's got protection.
Nah, you know what? Because I'm a made man, so forget about it.
You are a made man. It's very true. Like
how's Phil doing in Destiny 2, man? Tell us.
Honestly, he's coming along. He's coming along.
He's coming around.
But you know what? He's I don't know if you've heard, but he's kind of been busy lately. So you don't have very much time to game, but
well, we're gonna get into that, South, and yes, I'm gonna ask you, and you may or may not tell us what you know. We'll find out in a few moments. But speaking of, there it is. Speaking of my buddy Paisano in Florida, another Floridian, Clowns. How are you tonight, brother?
Hey, what's going on, Mooch? Can't complain. I am here. Southbound is back, which I'm glad to hear his voice again. Yes. I missed him so much. I just want to let the whole panel know that.
I thought we were guest appearancing with Ice-T today.
No.
That's what I thought was going on.
Pimpin' ain't easy. Yes. And speaking of the man who's speaking right now, and by the way, I did catch your Coffee Casuals and Consoles, okay, where the Mooch was the ridicule the first 10 minutes of that with the holding Xbot ransom or whatever that was all about. But Xbot 448 is here, and I heard Boom. I know you did, Boom. Thank you.
What's going on?
What's going on?
What's going on, everybody? Yes, I am back on Crossfire. Yo, Mooch, I don't think you have a lot of Mooch maniacs in my family tree, man, because 2 weeks ago my mom and my sister come over and kind of like demand dinner and stuff like that. What was it? This past Friday, I had to go to a wedding in New York over there.
New York.
And but it seems like the family has calmed down, and I am back in the hangout in the building for everybody in the chat. What's going on, everybody?
It is good to have you back, Expo. I appreciate it. And last but certainly not least, my defense lawyer, Mr. Boombastic. Boom, welcome to the show, buddy. Good to have you here tonight.
Well, first and foremost, let me just say this. Crap, it is fantastic to hear you back on the airwaves where you belong. I'm glad that you're back, that you're safe.
Appreciate it.
And it is a pleasure, once again, to spend my Friday night with everyone on the panel.
Crap didn't even know what was going on. He had his PSVR hooked up to his generator. He was off in another world.
I wish, man. Shoot, man. Like it was bad. I'll tell you about it a little bit off air, but yeah, it was bad, bro.
Well, let me do this because I got a lot of people writing me. And Crap, you'll be happy to hear this, and then kind of unhappy to hear where I'm going to start the first segment. I do want to start and kind of put a few people on the hot seat here. Okay. A lot of people were anti-Destiny, and I promised a lot of people that are Mooch Maniacs that this will not, and I repeat, this will not be a Destiny episode. We're going to talk about Destiny for 5 minutes, and then we're going to move on. But we do have a few people that are on the panel, all right? One being the one, Jez Corden, and then the other one being Xbot448 that were very, very against Destiny. And listen, this is not putting under the hot seat.
He's a fraud, man.
He's a fraud. But no, what I was going to say was, now I'm going to start with Jez. Jez, listen, you, I think it was Robbie that got you the game. And if I'm wrong, tell me. Your buddy who you do Mixer with every morning, great guy, by the way. He got that for you. You started playing. You kind of did it reluctantly. I mean, you're enjoying it to a certain extent because now I see you talking about it and posting pictures.
Okay, so Roby didn't buy me the game.
Oh, it wasn't Roby. Okay.
I got it through Windows Central, and because I figured, you know what, I just got peer pressured, man. There was people from all corners telling me to buy it, and I thought, yeah, I don't really have any co-op games to play right now, so whatever, I'll just buy it. I hate the campaign. I thought it was boring, and the last level, I was literally falling asleep. Literally, nearly fell asleep at the last boss. But you know, I've been playing the end game a bit. I'm trying to get up to. I think I'm like power level 255 now.
That's impressive. Very good.
So I'm trying to get up to that raid. So I'm gonna write an article, something like, "Is Destiny 2's endgame worth it?" And you know what? I've played it quite a bit, and dude, I just can't get over how it's just the same game again. There's nothing really very different.
It's not. It's not
the same game.
It is.
No,
you fight the same enemies.
I think it is. So I think there's a lot of similarities.
Way more streamlined than it used to be.
There's some there's some great environments, beautiful environments, like jaw-droppingly beautiful environments. The gunplay is great, as was in the first game.
Yes.
Great music, like you say, you know, and there are some more interesting quests like that give you more backstory on, like I remember I did a quest this morning where you sort of, it tells you some more backstory about Failsafe, the robot that AI that everyone's talking about. I thought that was pretty cool and interesting, but the gameplay loop of just doing strike after strike after strike, all the bosses are bullet sponge, bullet sponge, bullet sponge. It's boring, man.
That's Destiny.
Well, not just that, but wait, let's break it down though.
Complaints from the first
game. But isn't that the same thing as like WoW? Like,
no, not really WoW. But
I never played WoW, so I
would put it in terms. Wouldn't you guys put it in terms of Diablo? It's very similar to that loot scheme. And Diablo gets glorious applause as we move forward. Diablo 4 will be just like Diablo 3, and everyone's gonna love it. It's all about liking the loot, the possibility of the drop. It's the same reason people play scratch-off tickets.
Yeah, I completely agree with that comparison. Right. I completely agree with that comparison that it's more like Diablo. But the difference is Diablo feels like it has a lot more content, and not only that, but Diablo has a lot more procedurally generated content. I think like Destiny could have done with like some variation in the strikes, and you know, I mean, if that's all the PvE content there is, I mean, at least Destiny has like a PvP mode. But if you're not into that, and I'm not into that because it's gear based, and I think it's lame when someone with a better gun than you kills you just because they've looked out and got a better gun. I think that's just lame and a shooter. But
Well, has your assessment changed though, Jez? What about your assessment, like from where you were a week before the game came out and today? Are you as negative on it, or have you lightened up a little bit on it?
There was a couple of things about Destiny 2 in a philosophical sense that pissed me off. Like, they've got the marketing deal with Sony, and I really hate that deal because they just artificially cut content out of the game because Sony gave them.
It is a bad deal.
I think that is a shit thing to do. I mean, if Xbox had done the same thing, it'd be a shit thing for Xbox to do as well. So that's not a fanboy thing. That's just a shit thing to do. And also, I was thinking, like, are they not going to bother supporting the Xbox One X? Because if they are not supporting the X because of the deal with Sony or whatever, you know, for whatever reason, then I was also not going to be interested in the game. But I have since discovered that they are going to be supporting the Xbox One X in a big way, quote unquote. So that it was that fact that they're going to be supporting the X that really pushed me over.
Somebody please cut the first 6 minutes of this and send it to Xbox Junkie so he can purchase his Destiny 2 this evening. Because you heard it from Jez. He's a letterhead. He wants a letterhead from Bungie.
But see, the thing is with Junkie, he works a lot. He don't have as much, but he's still stuck on Gears.
Listen, well, don't get started because Moxxie's going to be one of the people I'm asking soon on this, because every time I go to see all of my friends list and I'm like, okay, Destiny. And I'm like, wait a minute, who's that right there? Oh, Gears. Oh, it's Moxxie. Okay. So it's like, yep. So I'm like, wait a minute here. So I got to ask her in a second. But so Jez, you are coming around though. I mean, you'll at least humor Destiny.
I want to see what the raid's like, and I want to see how they support the game moving forward, because the strikes are boring as hell. And the gameplay loop is boring as hell, like grinding the same strikes over and over again. So, like, I want to see.
Wait till you try the Nightfall, buddy.
Yeah. Well, yeah, exactly. I want to try. I want to try. I want to try the Nightfall stuff, and I want to try the
wait till Tuesday.
The raid stuff. And then they've already got updates coming. I think they're reintroducing the old factions like Dead Orbit and stuff, aren't they? Very, very soon. And then they've got actual more content coming out in December, like more strikes and stuff like that. So
that's my whole thing is the support is there, Jez. And don't get me wrong, when the support comes out, it's not like when that happens, the DLC drops or the season pass comes along. I'm not saying that changes everything. As a matter of fact, it just becomes more redundant. But there's a couple of new levels, couple new maps, couple new PvP maps. There's usually a new raid. It just keeps things. The game is always changing, and that's why when people say to me, well, Mooch, I don't understand how you're willing to put that kind of money up front and pay for it. I'm like, but the game will play for another 2.5 to 3 years. So if I'm taking $100, let's say out of the whole kit and caboodle, I'm $140 out of pocket for Destiny 2. Is that really that bad for 2 years of gameplay? I've bought games that I absolutely adore. I'll pick one out of a hat real quick. Quantum Break. Loved it to pieces. I paid $60. I mean, I played it for about 15 hours. I'm done. And so now I'm playing. I've got almost 70 hours into Destiny 2 for the $60 value. And is that a bad thing? I don't think so. Now you could sit there and say I don't like that. That's not my kind of game. But we're talking about a precise, very well balanced first-person shooter that has everything you just said. Right? We won't repeat everything, but great music. The scenery is amazing. The artwork is outstanding. You could see that they actually put some time into the story. The story should only get better because I think a lot of people did their homework and saw that Activision went out and resourced about 10 different companies to come in and help Bungie on some of the smaller things. That's only going to blossom as Destiny continues. And if you don't think a Destiny 3 is in the future, you're all out of your mind. That's coming as sure as shit. So
Destiny 2 is an 8-year game, guys. 8 years.
If it's 8 years, it'll be a miracle. I think it's only going to be about 3. But all right, let me ask Moxxie, what is it coming from your standpoint? Because I noticed Avers also is not playing Destiny 2. Is it something you're just putting your hand up saying, I'm just not playing this because it's not my cup of tea? Or do you have something that really irks you about the game and you're kind of standing off of it on principle?
I never got into Destiny. I never got into Destiny 1, and it's kind of one of those games I don't have a lot of time at all. So it's a lot of time input, and I just never really got into it. But, we've referenced a few times in some of the stuff that we've said that, there was a lot of things that Bungie did that weren't super loyal to the Xbox side of the fan base. And, if it gets the X enhancement, I will buy it. That doesn't mean I'll even play it, but I will buy it because I think it's so important to support devs who are essentially embracing the latest technology. So if you've got devs who don't want to do the latest and greatest thing, that's a problem with the devs. So
Let me jump in there real quick. I don't think it's really an issue about want or the having time, or I think it comes down to money, and the marketing deals. If anything.
Yeah, I was gonna say, well, and that's why I said the Junkie, and shout out to Xbox Junkie, great friend of the show, good friend of mine. Junkie's principles and what he stood up for, I kind of back him up on. I think he's right in what he's doing, but I mean, the way I looked at it was, I just looked at it as across the whole playing field. You've got Call of Duty that we know is going to be 4K HDR. You see Star Wars Battlefront has come out and said that they're going to do it. It would just be egg on the face for Bungie if they were like, no, even with our contractual deal, we can't do it. They would look too bad. They wouldn't. I don't think they would allow Sony to even come in and do something like that, because they would be the only game this entire holiday that doesn't get the X treatment.
You have to remember that Bungie is comprised of a lot of Microsoft,
absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Well, Mike Ibarra said that.
The DNA is so, I mean, it's all inbreeding. You know what I'm saying? So
it is.
I highly doubt that they don't, wouldn't want to, or are not planning to.
I mean,
I'm sorry.
Ahead,
also, real quick though, we just keep saying Bungie, but you got to understand if they hold back the content or the ability to make it look better simply because of a signed piece of paper, it's not just Bungie that's going to look like shit. That you have to add Sony to that, and you have to add Activision to that, and that becomes a much bigger problem with the community then.
Exactly. Like I said, it puts the egg on their face. But I mean, the one thing I do want to say, and like I said, I don't want to spend all day on Destiny. I kind of want to get off it after this point, is just that the one thing I said to people that were like, Mooch, should I get it? And I said, listen, if you're not a first-person shooter type of gamer, then this isn't for you. But the fact that this is what I said, like, we've been playing every night, and I've played with so many different gamers every night. Some people, last night, Southie, you were there. I was hanging out with 2 or 3 other people that I've never even played with. It was amazing. It was a lot of fun. Wasn't it? I mean, you were there. We were laughing our asses off.
Yeah. We're ruckus, laughing. I mean,
that's just something you don't get out of a regular game. Like, you're not going to get Cuphead next Friday and be like, who else jamming with everyone? No, that's not going to happen.
And that's the beauty of Destiny, that people playing by itself sucks. Destiny by itself is garbage.
Yes. I'll say
I beat most of the story by myself, man, and I am actually a fan of the story, and I've been like I put myself out there like why, huh?
But you liked Destiny 1.
No,
he didn't.
Oh, you didn't?
No, he didn't.
No.
Well, that's another thing. Like, I've actually enjoyed playing Destiny 2 solo a bit.
Yeah, right?
Because I do like doing those adventures.
Like, that's like the minority, because Destiny is built for multiplayer and
totally. Well, I think the story you can definitely go through solo. You could get immersed, because a lot of times with the community and the way they have wound up with Destiny 1, you'll get a lot of people's like, yeah, no, I'll help you through the story, and it's like, no, I actually want to like listen to the story. I want to see the cutscenes. I want to get immersed and stuff like that. And there's a lot of people who offer their services, which isn't a bad thing, but their service is, all right, I'm going to throw you on my shoulder. We're going to go straight from point A to point B, and that's it. And
listen, and you got in ground level enough, Xbot. This is what I did for the first 3 days when I was playing. It was me, Sajibot, Def Jam Bam. And it wasn't to be rude to anybody, but I did want to enjoy the story. I wanted to hear it. None of us have played through it yet, so it was like a first time for everybody. And I locked the party just while we were doing the story campaign, because I was like, I wanted to listen. I didn't want a bunch of people coming in and being like, Mooch. You know what I mean? Like,
there's nothing wrong with that. There's a lot of games where you have to, focus. And
I wanted to hear what's going on.
You need to experience the nuance and everything.
I totally agree. And that's what I'm saying. And I think this is going to be one of those games that, look at, what do we do sometimes when we sit here and we talk about nostalgia, right? There's going to be people next Friday at 9 o'clock in the morning at Best Buy, GameStop, being like, give me that SNES Classic and give it to me now. Okay, when we are about 10, 15 years down the road and people are like, hey, what were you gaming back in this era? You're going to be talking about Destiny, because Destiny is the only game that I can say this generation thus far has separated from the games that we've played from the 360 era. Because all the games we're playing now that are great, they're great, but they're continuations of the games that we loved and adored in the 360 era. Destiny's the one game that treats console gamers differently. And that doesn't mean you like it. I'm not telling you have to like it, but it is the only different thing. Everything else is just like so-and-so again.
You're a little premature on that, man. Because Sea of Thieves, PUBG, there are games coming out that are different.
Yeah, I mean, listen, Xbot. If I can predict,
but he's already he's talking about established.
Yeah, if I can predict the future, we wouldn't be doing a podcast. I'd be just reading off my 6 winning lotto numbers for the state of New York Lotto.
What are the lotto numbers?
Exactly. So I mean, but this is something we know. You're right. Sea of Thieves. What is it there? Anthem. These games all play a major role coming up, and that's what I think. But I think we do have to attribute that Sea of Thieves maybe it wasn't like birthed off the thought of Destiny, but we know that it has a chance to thrive because of something like a Destiny. I don't like using the word Destiny killer. No, it's not that.
No, that's the first thing people wonder. Is it like Destiny? Is it a shared world, open, whatever, MMO?
And that's what I'm saying. I find it hard to believe that so many people are excited about, games like Sea of Thieves and they don't like Destiny. Sea of Thieves is going to get very repetitive as well. Maybe you like the environment more. Maybe it's not a first-person shooter, so that's what's up your alley, and that's cool. There's nothing there to be frowned upon. But you can't be really excited about walking the plank 65,000 times and then not liking going to the same planet 65,000 times.
We already said Destiny 2 so much that I already started it up, and I'm break down some armor and stuff like that while we're on the podcast.
No, I promised the chat we wouldn't do that because we did a lot of Destiny last week. But I just want to say I'm glad to see that Jez is in there. I'd like to see when Moxxie and Avers get into it come this November. It'd be cool to have you guys join us. Listen, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
But listen, let's get into what everyone was talking about the past couple of days, and that was Phil Spencer's promotion. Because we could sit here and we can all pop the champagne and talk about this and that. We're like, hey, this is what we kind of wanted. We finally wanted our voices heard. This reminds me of the old Goodfellas, right? When one of your capos is getting made, when you become a made man, then all of a sudden your crew is in.
Now I understand, Mooch.
Is that right? Exactly.
I understand now.
You get that reference. So you know what I mean? My whole thing is that I think that Phil being into that seat right now is very good for us as gamers, right? Now the word gets to the head table without the game of telephone. Yes.
Listen, as soon as you heard that Phil got into, he's at the head of the table now.
Right.
He's with the big dogs.
Right.
That could only mean good things for Xbox. Xbox is going to be sold off and, this and that, and they're shutting all these studios because, Microsoft is tired of Xbox. This right here is a big middle finger to everybody, every naysayer, every doubter, anybody saying anything negative. Mm-hmm. They just doubled down on the Xbox brand.
Yeah, it really is.
All the penny pinching probably paid off with this move, honestly. I mean, that's probably what it was all about, just showing that Phil, he cut the fat, and some people aren't going to like that, but he did, and now they're at the big boy table. They're going to be able to do a lot more things.
Well,
and
I agree with you.
Can't see that, then wake up, because we have one bad year of games, but next year, if things go right, it's going to be one of the best years we've ever had.
A sparse year? Did we have a sparse year? Because if that's the case, then the competition were allowed at least one sparse year. Where they actually said there's not a lot of titles coming out. So I've been going back and forth with people on Twitter and shit like that when they talk about no games, and they say PS4 has all these exclusives and stuff. And I'm like, well, dude, they had one sparse year according to people from Sony. So why aren't you giving that to Xbox as well?
Right.
And then shut the fuck up, basically.
Right.
Well, listen. Let me try a little moochism real quick. It's kind of like meeting somebody new. And you go and hang out at a place that's really not even that good or popping and, not that fun, but you really have a good time with this person. And you say, you know what? We need to add this guy to whatever we do now, because you know what? He makes it that much better. Even though the venue and the environment we were at wasn't the best, but you know what? This person just made it that much better.
I agree. Now I'm going to put Moxxie on the hot seat here. Moxxie, you guys were talking about on G4G the other day. You guys had mentioned, and I'd written this as a note, and when I heard you guys say it, I was like, I'm like, these guys are onto something too. I thought in my head, once Phil goes up to, as Southie says, the big boy table, he's sitting with the round table now. Phil can't be the head of Xbox, sitting up reporting to this, looking over budgets, making sure the games are working right over Shannon's shoulder, looking at what Mike's doing. All right, no, he can't do all that. Now, I'm concerned a little bit. I was, and I think Moxxie's the same way. You guys were talking about on your show about how if Phil's sitting there, is there going to be a minion, someone that Phil picks, handpicked, that will be the new head of Xbox while Phil is above him?
No.
And I mean,
no, because it's not a traditional promotion. A lot of this, I think Satya Nadella is kind of getting pushed to the side in all this. This guy, as the CEO of Microsoft, hold on. Can I, if you let me finish, I might change your mind, man. Like the whole thing is, it's a restructuring from his point of view, and he brought Phil into that table because he realizes how important games are and stuff like that to Microsoft, you know, in terms of services and everything like that, and where he wants to bring Microsoft as a corporation. Like, that's how important.
I think you're partially correct, Xbot, in the whole fact that
who decided to restructure this. This is why
he's not realizing games are important. He's realizing his games division's making money.
Exactly. Bingo.
That's what he's realizing. And I think that's why he's like, you know what we need to do? This needs to become part of the actual family tree, not just a sidestep or underneath one of the other branches in the tree. Right. And that's why Phil's got a head seat now. And I mean, that's good. None of this is a bad thing.
He's not answering the Meyerson anymore, which is also good.
That's like that's the best thing right there, man.
That was a big problem that a lot of people, I mean, we know because we're, you know, in tune with what's going on in the gaming world. But the casual fan, and maybe not the biggest Xbox fan, doesn't realize that Terry Meyerson, he, from, you know, again, I don't know personally, I'm only telling you what I've heard. It was really a tightwad when it came to allowing Phil to spread his wings and go and do some crazy AAA or AA expensive games. And now that he's not in the picture, we should see bigger things from that part of Microsoft.
I think people need to temper their expectations a bit. With regard, I mean,
I was just going to ask you, Jez. Yes.
Now that Phil's an executive, it doesn't necessarily mean that we're all of a sudden going to see funding for 2 new AAA studios and, you know, the return of major franchises with photorealistic graphics, you know, and all that sort of stuff. Because at the end of the day, Terry Meyerson wasn't a gamer. He didn't understand gaming.
Right.
He wasn't a gamer, so he would have been listening to Phil about what decisions and direction to take. And sure, now Phil doesn't need Terry Meyerson's blessing for funding. He can just go straight to, I think her name's Amy Hood is the chief financial officer, and he can get funding for whatever he wants and stuff like that. And he'll have more like
access to
Satya Nadella. Yeah, I mean he had access to Satya Nadella before. Terry Meyerson isn't a gamer.
You're talking to CFO? You're talking about Tim Stewart?
I don't know. I'm probably getting the names mixed up. But
yeah, Tim Stewart is the CFO of Xbox. That's the money man.
Well, all right, fair enough. But at the end of the day, the direction of Xbox is more about, I think for Phil and the team now, it's still more about building a platform for the future. It's still going to be more about integrating Windows more. Because this isn't about Xbox. This is more to do with Windows. Because Windows is dying. You know,
right?
And gaming is the only sector that it's growing in. Gaming PCs are up 70%, but PCs overall are down like 5%.
Well, because everybody's got the iPhone and the Galaxies, and everything's mobile. You know what I mean? They know they have to change their direction somehow.
Exactly.
You know
Phil is exactly. And Phil isn't just the Xbox guy now. He's the Windows gaming guy. He's there to help grow out that section of Windows, which is growing. It's the only part of Windows that is growing, is the gaming bit. So Phil's got to deal with that as well. So I'm not going to sit here and say that there won't be AAA games and there won't be big deals and exclusives coming, because there probably will be. But it's not going to be as a result of this necessarily. They're probably stuff that was already in place, and you know, it's definitely exciting for gaming as a whole, because it does mean that Microsoft, it's a big thumbs up to gaming, and Microsoft acknowledging that gaming is pretty much one of the only parts of Microsoft's consumer offering that is functioning properly. And it's basically Xbox and Surface. Everything else is business. And the Windows consumer side for Windows has just been sucking really bad. But hopefully with Phil, you know, they'll be able to make new innovative device categories and stuff, hopefully with Phil pushing that.
So here's the thing nobody's talking about, though. This follows really early this year. They came out with one of their earnings. I think it was Q2. And they said that essentially they put out a pie chart and they said that Windows and gaming are the same size now for Microsoft. They were both 11% roughly of what the business is. Yep. So this follows that. But the thing that people aren't talking about is when you think about a company and you think about the senior leadership team of a company, they have, I think Microsoft with Phil Spencer now will have 16 EVPs. Some of the things about the reorganization, because this is a company-wide reorganization that this is part of, makes it sound like they're going to pull one of the EVPs down, so maybe 15. So what putting Microsoft, putting gaming onto that panel means is now, you know, you take the 15 EVPs, they each get a 15th essentially of the company budget for Microsoft. So that's putting gaming onto the panel where they get, you know, if there's 16 EVPs, then they get about 6% of the company budget, where if you don't have an EVP category for that, then they were getting lower than that.
That's right. That's right.
So it's a core area of interest for the company. It's literally, they're calling it core area of interest.
You know what?
Different sections of Microsoft will have bigger budgets than others. I mean, the budget for Azure is going to be way bigger because they're
cloud. Yeah, that's money maker. That's bread and butter right now.
And a lot of those budgets get moved around by who on the EVP team. You know, obviously there's business priorities for Microsoft, but it also has to do with when you're in a senior leadership position, you have to be really good at selling and talking and convincing the other senior leaders as well as the CEO as to what your budget should be. So if Phil Spencer gets in there and he's a shark and he's aggressive, like people that I've seen that I've worked with in the past, he could get a bigger budget than he reasonably should. They're definitely never going to be even. Or if he doesn't, you know, some other EVP could walk all over him and get more money than what he's getting.
Oh, don't let the nice guy fool you.
Phil, I hope he is that.
Phil's a great white in a pool full of guppies.
Yeah. It's a great point, you know, that because like even when you disregard the budgets and stuff like that, Phil being an executive is like a psychological change for Microsoft, and it's like Moxxie says, like Phil will be able to advocate for gaming far better than Terry will. And I saw this with my own eyes because I went to IFA 2017, which is kind of like CES, Consumer Electronics Show, but it's in Berlin. It's a big consumer electronics show. Like they have there was loads of kitchen appliances like tumble dryers and blenders. There was so many blenders, man. So many blenders.
Hey, people love margaritas.
But there was also a lot of PCs there. So I went to Asus's keynote and Acer and Lenovo and Dell, and they were all, and a huge part of each keynote was dedicated to gaming, specifically to gaming and mixed reality. And then at Microsoft's keynote, you had Terry Myerson on stage talking about gaming, and you could just tell he wasn't a gamer. He wasn't passionate about it. And like, if it was Phil on stage or anyone from Xbox or like Mikey Barra or someone, they would have been able to sell that way better than Terry could. And Terry made it seem so boring, you know, because he's not a gamer, and it's fine, you know, it's fine, you know, that he's not a gamer. We don't all have to be gamers, although we all should be gamers.
Well, you know, the thing is, I mean, that's an interesting point. We say the same thing, and I don't think there's anybody on Sony's staff that plays games. I know they say Yoshida plays games, but it's almost forced. It's like when you have to go to the dentist. You know, I mean, my thing about these guys is I don't understand how anyone gets into, like, think about everybody that you go see. Like, you go see your local baker, your local pizza guy. Like, when I was a kid, my dad was making donuts, and I just felt like it was something I had to do, right? It's something that was engraved in them. I became a baker. And these guys here are like, well, you know, technically I did 15 years of accounting, worked myself up to CPA, and when I got to somehow I landed in the Xbox division. What? How did you get there? Like, I don't understand how that doesn't all equate. It seems like the Mikey Barras of the world, it seems like the Phil Spencers of the world are the people that are in the right seats, you know? And I don't know how, or why would you want somebody to critique and see if a game is actually going to be any good? Like, right, I mean, think about it. If Jez Corden, very good at Windows Central, knows what he's talking about. I don't know if I want Jez to be on the cooking channel, putting his finger in the sauce, being like, a little bit more garlic. He doesn't know what the hell. What do you know about that?
I know all about cookies, man.
That's great. It goes right into cookies. No, but I mean, I don't see why that this is such rocket science when you're talking about something like putting someone like Phil, and you've had these people working for Xbox for 20-something years, and now it's all of a sudden somebody's got a light bulb went off, and they're like, maybe we should put the guy who's been making games forever in charge of judging games. What do you guys think? Anybody want to do no one wants to vote? No? All right. Then I'll just make the executive order. I don't understand how come this has taken so long. That was the one thing that I never got. And, you know, listen, I'm excited that Phil got promoted. Phil is actually one of the people that I think does belong there. There's still a little bit of concern. Phil's promotion doesn't take away my concern from some of the other people that are still working at Xbox. I do think some of that still needs to be shooken up. And I think with Phil moving up, a little shook up could still occur.
Well, and you have to remember also, even though Phil is very aware of, you know, his, you know, the people talking about him on, you know, social media and you know, in the media and all that. But a lot of times, a lot of stuff under him in the company, it kind of flies by him and he doesn't know. So
well, exactly, it's too big. It's a huge company,
right? You know,
yeah.
And a lot of people don't understand that when it comes to, and Jess can back me up on this. When it comes to the Xbox, you know, hierarchy, they're not all in one spot. They're in different buildings. You know what I mean? So it's not like Major Nelson to just go run down the hall and say, "Hey, Phil, we need to go grab this game real quick." You know what I mean? Like it's not like that.
No, but Larry does yell, "Yo, Aaron, let's go get another 5 or 6 Taco Bell boxes, okay? And let's record it on the way." Those guys are all over Twitter.
That's promotion, bro.
Of course it's promotion, but it is funny to see Aaron in a onesie getting tacos. That's always interesting.
Fuck, I'm jealous, man. I want to eat fucking tacos in a onesie.
He's eating tacos in a onesie. Wearing like ridiculous Converse kicks. What's that? What are you jealous of, Jess?
The onesie, man. I want that onesie so bad.
How come they didn't give it to you? You would have been rocking it like crazy. You would have had an avatar made with you wearing it.
I'd never take it off.
You know, I don't have that on my list. You know, Jess, you said hashtag or @soon or something. Are these avatars coming soon? Because you did kind of tweet that out today or yesterday. I can't remember when you did it.
Well, it's hard to say. I would hope that they are coming in the 17.10 update, which is what they're calling this update. That is aimed for October, but as you know, I leaked. They uploaded the new avatars app to the Xbox. I know people who could get it, and we leaked it. Then they took it off the Xbox.
That's so great.
And so now I don't know how far along in development it was, but like I think it was about 6 weeks ago that I leaked it. So about a month ago. It was very early. It was very early stages. Anti-aliasing hadn't been switched on. The app had no lighting and stuff like that. It's built on Unity 3D, like Long Dark, and there's like quite a lot of games built on Unity these days. But it was really good. Like infinite options. You know, you could have infinite colors and you could change the color of everything. It's the system they're building for avatars is absolutely tremendous. You know, there's no limits. You know, you can be fully creative with it.
You know, I said this, and people who are making customized game picks, Jez, got a little upset with me. One being our very dear friend of the show, J-Dubs. I said I was so excited about gamer picks coming on and being available. And now with these amazing avatars, like I am a little excited to try the avatars again. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, they're animated. They look like Pixar quality artwork. It's a fantastic thing.
When the avatars first came out, how long did and this is a question for everybody. How long did it take you guys to finish your avatar? Because I'll tell you mine, it took a good like 6 hours.
Wait, which avatar are you talking about? And what?
On Xbox.
I bought clothes for my avatar as well. I spent quite a lot of money on.
There was like
on the 360, like because
there wasn't a lot of customization except for the clothes, though. I thought really, Sal.
But the thing is, to try to make it look like you with the limited resources,
it was hard.
Like, exactly, and I thought I did a pretty damn good job.
Well, you're lucky. You pick your head. You could just pick like that and roll. Put a pair of shades on, and you look badass. You know what I mean? Nobody's got this Italian haircut going on over there. Huh? What are we gonna do? I gotta try and get like. But
you need that Jew fro.
Exactly.
I couldn't find a fedora. I couldn't find a real fedora, a real suit on there. You know.
Oh, it's great. It's so good.
Their mohawk options were limited, I have to say, because I do have one. So.
Well, listen, let me go to the next subject here, guys. This has got a lot of people up in arms. Well, the media's having a lot of fun at it, and I know I saw Jez do a couple of one-liners that were very spot on, in my opinion. Today, the folks at Bluehole there, PUBG, took a couple swipes at the folks at Fortnite. And here's the thing. I'm going to give my opinion on it, but I'll be honest with you, I don't know if my opinion holds water because I don't know the legality of it. I know, judging based on Jez's tweets, they don't have a leg to stand on. I understand where PUBG's coming from. I do. I genuinely do. But I also, if it's nothing legal that can come after me except for some maybe criticism in the news, I don't really blame Fortnite. And I watch Scratch. Shout out to Scratch, who does some great videos for Xbox Ambassadors and Xbox MVP.
Scratch is a good dude.
He's a great dude. He's been on the show a couple times. Fantastic guy. Got quite a following with him too. But he did some gameplay of him playing Fortnite, the PUBG edition, and I liked it. I gotta say, I think I want to play Fortnite again, and I want to play that Battleground version of it. Now, Jez, what's the legality here? Can they do that without being?
No, there is no legal precedent for them to sue Fortnite. I mean, I think like in America, you only have. I think it's like there's like a level. When you're copying something, you have to change so much of it, and then you have to argue the percentage of how much that's changed. And I think in America, there's like a legal precedent, like so much percentage has to be different. But it's totally subjective. They could argue so much, and just it's just never going to hold up in court.
Yeah, but correct me if I'm wrong. Isn't PUBG itself a mod from what's it called, anyways?
H1Z1, right?
Isn't it like
yeah, Arma, exactly. Isn't it Arma mod itself?
It's based on. I think originally it was based on Arma. No, it's
so I mean, it's like, hey, you copied my shirt. Well, you know what? Well, you copied his fucking shirt. So what are you trying to tell me?
And there's H1Z1 as well, which has a similar format, and it's never going to hold up in court. So I think I'm rooting for PUBG, but God, they fucked up by publishing that press release. All they did was give Fortnite a shitload of free press.
More exposure.
Now everybody's talking about it.
Yeah. And they made Fortnite look good. They made themselves look stupid. And then 2 hours later, Fortnite published the massive changelog for the next Battle Royale update. They didn't mention PUBG at all. Because Epic Games are fucking veteran. They're veterans in this industry. They know what they're doing.
They've been around for what, 30 years?
Yeah, they're totally played. They are totally playing everyone right now. And it's like turning on cross-platform play by accident. Quote.
Wink.
Yeah. How much of an accident is that? That's like, tripping and falling in a motorboat and some chick. Like, well, I don't know how that happened. Oh my God.
Yeah, it's they're clever, man, and PUBG just played right into their hands, and they fucked up big time with that shit. I was laughing when they sent me that press release directly.
I thought that, but myself personally, from what I saw, and correct me where I'm wrong, everybody, but when I saw what they actually did in Fortnite, and you're able to just build the same thing you were building in the regular game, I thought that brought a new element to the whole Battle Royale, right? I saw someone building like a shed around it, like that gives you an extra second or two when someone's like trying to knock your wall down. The minute they knock it down, you're like, I mean, like that's kind of neat, and it changes the aspect of the game. I don't know, for some reason, I kind of like it. It looks good in Fortnite. If they can build on it, it's only going to get better. I don't know. That was my take on it. I don't know if, and I feel bad.
I've only played one match of Fortnite Battle Royale, but I bought the $150 free to play pack. I'm such
you saw you coming a mile away, Jez.
I played it hardcore for about a week and then dropped it like a brick.
Yeah.
But I was playing the Battle Royale mode, and there was this dude coming out with a shotgun, and I just dropped a wall in front of his face, and then he fell off a cliff, which is hilarious. And it's solid, it's really solid. But the thing is, I wouldn't have bothered trying to play it if they hadn't sent me that fucking email this morning. So they screwed up, man. There's nothing more to say about it.
What do you think, Crap? What's your take on that game? I mean, do you think it revitalizes Fortnite? Because I think Fortnite, if it just was Fortnite, the Fortnite
their biggest game or something like that. So I mean, I don't know how much revitalization it needed, but there's no, like I told you earlier, I was like, there's no legal recourse here.
No, you did say that. Yeah.
I was like, there's no way.
Well, if we know that, and you said that, and Jez is saying this, and these laws are all out there for public knowledge, why is it that the folks at PUBG decided to come out?
They aren't American, so I mean, they maybe think that there's something that they can
South
do.
Korean?
No,
they're not
that, but no, they're not South Korean.
Okay.
Yeah, so maybe they thought that they had some kind of, but there's not going to be any kind of recourse or anything like that. And just like how we were bringing attention to Cliffy B's game, hey, how about those 20 players, Cliffy? Woo!
Yeah.
Why talks about my boy, man?
Oh man, hey dude, he's celebrating, man. You know what? I can go back up, boot up my PS2, and play Star Wars Battlefront 2, and there's more than 20 people on it. I'm just saying.
Damn.
I'm just saying. Yes, I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
You can't
He's going for the fucking jugular right now.
He bit the hand that fed him. And, a lot of people that are even the PC people, like not only PC, like, personal computer, I mean politically correct, that are out there on Twitter every day and being like, you know what, here, Mooch, I just want to pass you the Unity candle and let's all get along. The minute they get done saying that, they're like, by the way, fuck Cliffy B. And I'm like, wait, whoa, take it easy. Usually you're the one singing Kumbaya and handing out rosaries. Listen, take it easy, all right? But he's bitten so many hands, and then he came out and said it. I mean, I will give him, I guess, that. He came out and said he's going to try and be, even when he was trying to be nice, he still came off the wrong way. He's like, I'm going to be less of a dick. Who says that publicly? But
me.
Yeah, well, yeah, you're the crap gamer, though.
The problem, Mooch, with the whole Lawbreakers thing, very simply, is that he didn't handle it in a professional manner, and he went out of his way, again, to be a dick towards the Xbox community and its players. If he would have come out and said, we couldn't afford, because we're a small team, to do both games, but rest assured, an Xbox version will come out at a later date, and left it at that, he would be in a better position financially, and so would his small team, because they would be working around the clock to put it out on Xbox. And you know what? Because he came out like an a-hole, even if he does bring it out on Xbox, a lot of Xbox gamers are tainted, and they won't buy his game. And
bullshit. Listen.
Hold on.
No. Hold on. Fuck that. Let me say this.
Yeah, brother.
If he came out tonight and said, listen, we're launching with the Xbox One X, 4K, 60 frames for $30, you think people ain't going to buy it?
There'll be some people that buy it.
I bet more people would buy it than they did on the PS4 and the PC.
Exactly. Right.
Let's just be honest on this. The only reason why he's coming out and saying he's not going to be a dick anymore is because he realizes he needs that community now.
And his game didn't sell not because he's a dick. His game didn't sell because people look at it
generic.
As Overwatch.
Exactly. Because everybody's comparing it to Overwatch and Battleborn.
Not only that, here's the thing: Cliffy B, he flip flops a lot. Like he's like, I love, he abandons the PC crowd, and then he expects them to embrace him again with his game. Then it was going to be a free-to-play game. Then it was going to be an exclusive Steam game. Then it was going to PC and PS4, and they're like, screw Xbox. There's no physical release of the game. That cuts out, whether you like it or not, like 50 to 60% of your audience. Then it's an online-only game. I mean, he really limited who this game was going to appeal to.
For somebody who has the knowledge he has, crap, he missed a lot of the warning signs.
Yeah,
I mean
anybody could have told you. Anybody could have predicted that was going to be a complete flop.
Well,
And I heard that he turned down. He could have had a lot more press and stuff. Sony didn't advertise his game at all.
No, there was none.
So
I'm kind of shocked. Listen, I will say this much: I'm shocked it did as bad as it did, though. I didn't think it would do that bad.
I honestly, and this is just my opinion, but Xbox would have embraced him much more than Sony has.
Yeah, he saw that.
We would have appreciated it here. We would have appreciated the release.
Well, we were called the shooter box all last generation.
Again, that's exactly my point.
Right?
That's
exactly
what I was going to say.
Even stop to think. Sorry, Boom.
Yeah, that's okay. Good.
If he even stopped to think about, if you really have a limited budget and you can really only do one platform, which, like you're saying, is fine. He would have sat down and thought about which platform to do. And, Xbox is notorious for online multiplayer shooters. That's definitely what that audience is. So there's more to that decision because you would think he would have picked Xbox.
Yeah, and I mean, it always goes to this. Like, someone will tell you this that's in sales, okay? They can say to you, listen, if I'm your salesman, okay, and I come in and I say, I'm going to sell you this product, and I know this product is shitty, and they're like, but I get my sale on the floor, and then all of a sudden the owner of that shop turns around and says to me, your stuff never sold. So I'm not only not rebuying this product, but I'm not going to buy any more of your products. You made a one lump sum once, and that was it. You're better off being more upfront. My point being with all this is what we're saying with Xbox versus Sony. Sony gave him a check, okay? And I'm sure it was decent Maybe it even broke him to equal for all the money he put out of pocket. But then he made nothing after. He got his one big bang, and that's it. And someone like Cliffy B wasn't really in it to break even. You know, we talk about his ego and this and that. He wanted to be back on top. That's what he wanted, or at least to be recognized again. And now, I mean, now to be honest with you, he's having lunch next week with Sean Murray. I mean, no, he's right. I mean,
Sean Murray.
You know,
now that's a name I haven't heard for a long time.
Yeah, they're both going to go into hiding. They're in the Gaming Witness Protection Program. So, I mean, my point being is Cliffy wanted something more for himself and his name. If you know him and read about him and what he's done, that's what he wanted. He wanted the big lights again. So breaking even for First Cliff wasn't the thing to do. And he took it. Instead, he took the bait from Sony, took the check, probably broke even. And now he's just back to where he was 5 years ago before he started Lawbreakers. So he's either going to start over again and try with a clean slate, or he's just going to go into hiding or maybe assist other development teams. And that's not what Cliffy really wanted to do. And I think that's a shame, because if he did come to Xbox, he would have been embraced because he had the whole Gears community. I mean, just a quarter of the Gears community would have bought the game because he's Gears family. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Somebody put that fire out quick.
That is Xbox. It's got to be, right?
Yeah. Silent Hills.
He said he was cooking dinner. Did you?
No. Yo, the paint is chipping off the walls right now. It's floating up in the air. I'm about to see some crazy babies walking through the hallway and shit. It's what I got to deal with in the town I live in.
Always during the podcast too. Like
it is, but during my podcast, like everything happens. Like an alien will invade the world during Crossfire.
Even Snap said with the multiple podcasts that I do, the podcast that's on her show, like it doesn't go off until there is a podcast on live and we have the microphones on, man.
Yeah,
that's my luck. Welcome to
my Windows thing was like update now, and I went to click no, and I clicked or later, and I clicked yes, and so that's where I went to.
Oh, great! Another great tradition of Crossfire, right? We update and install. No, but you know it is what it is, folks. And I did want to kind of touch on the Cliffy B subject, which I'm glad we did. But I want to go back to something we mentioned a second ago.
20 people though.
20 people is an all-time low. It's an all-time low. But, you know, let's get back to what the folks were doing over at Fortnite. Now, you guys were saying they switched on crossplay, and I really meant that when I put it in the topic section for the panel to look at today. Listen, can somebody please, and I know I'm in the minority, and I'm not gonna do the whole Mooch stance, like, negative thing. I just don't see why I care. Why do I, as an Xbox primary gamer, why do I care about crossplay? Because all the games that I play right now, and that I always like to go back on. And believe me, once I get done, everybody can see and look at my hours I put on this and that. I play a lot of Gears. When I go back to Gears 4, guess what? There's going to be a lot of people playing it. Xbot 448 talks every single day about how he plays Halo. There's people on Halo all the time.
All the time.
What I'm saying to you is and it's not rhetorical. Please let it out. Why is it everybody in the media is so kumbaya with this crossplay? The only thing I've heard so far is that people are high on crossplay because when a game stinks, like people are like, well, come on, Mooch, what about Battleborn? And what about Lawbreakers? And I'm like, well, you know, just because there's not a lot of people on there, it's also telltale of what the game actually is, and that's usually bad. So crossplay is not going to save a game that has 20 and then it has 80 players on it. So my whole point is, where's this love coming from crossplay? And anyone can chime in who knows more about it.
I would say that I don't know why the media loves it so much, but I mean, I'm like you. I don't really care if crossplay comes.
Thank you, Jess.
To Xbox personally, because none of my friends have PlayStation. Everyone I know has Xbox.
Yes.
They, you know, I don't know. Xbox is just quite popular in the UK, but it's as far as a developer goes, developers would like to have crossplay because they don't have to program separately for different network architecture. And if the different companies support like a standardized model for network, you know, delivery, then that saves them development time, you know. And also it helps them moderate their communities better across different platforms, presumably. So it's a cool thing for developers, but for us, I suppose, as Xbox gamers, it's kind of prevented us from getting certain games. Like, I'm still fucking salty about Final Fantasy 14, man. I'm still salty about that. And I know that's not necessarily to do with cross-play itself, but it's sort of those similar issues where a game is, by designed to function across all these different platforms. But for some reason, that we still don't truly know. We don't truly know why. It's still being blocked. Square Enix have said they want to do it, and Square Enix said earlier this year they want to become a multiplayer-focused company. So if they want to become a multiplayer-focused company, wouldn't they want to get their biggest multiplayer game ever onto Xbox?
Yes. Yes, I mean, absolutely.
What is stopping this shit from happening? And people blame Sony a lot, but maybe there's things Xbox could be doing to help this along a little better.
One thing that I question when this whole Fortnite thing, crossplay, like I thought maybe, you know what, are they trying to like, poison the well a little bit? You know what I mean? Are they trying to like? Was there some kind of ulterior motive by flipping the switch? You know what I mean?
Of course.
Oh, absolutely. That was a. I'm gonna use the word devious move, but I don't mean that as cynicism.
Well, no, exactly. That's what I'm saying. I didn't mean like poison the well, but I mean, were there ulterior motives by doing it?
Because it was obviously done accidentally on purpose.
Yeah, I think it was.
And nobody believes it was an accident. I mean, come on.
No.
You know what I mean? If you believe that, I got several bridges in New York to sell you.
Yeah, no, I agree with you guys, and I appreciate Jez. Thank you for reiterating things I've said on a few podcasts, and I'm always in the minority because everyone's like, "Come on, Mooch, grab a fucking candle, let's march and sing together." And I'm like, I don't understand. Someone uses the example all the time. Well, what about when your friend has PlayStation and this? And I go, well, wait a minute, how the hell is he my friend? Not that a PlayStation. I'm just saying, like, when you're friends with kids, don't you all get the same consoles anyway? Like all my friends, quote unquote friends that I know in my real life that play Destiny and Gears, they're all on Xbox. And I mean, I don't, even if it's third-party games they only play, even if they only play Madden, even if they only play just Destiny or just Call of Duty, my friends, in quotations, all have Xbox. So when they open this up and they flip the switch and they're like, everybody can play together, that doesn't impact my life. And I mean, don't get me wrong, it's not all about just me, but I think Jez said it himself, and Jez speaks to so many people. That's my whole point, is that who's got 18 friends on PlayStation? And if you do, maybe you should go to PlayStation or they should come over to Xbox. I don't see why. That's just the way the ecosystems are built. And I don't blame Sony for kind of putting their stop sign up, because to be honest with you, that hurts their ecosystem.
Yeah,
it's part of their sales pitch.
Yeah, it wouldn't be a good business decision for Sony. I mean, I slam Sony for being harsh about the crossplay thing. I think I'm kind of developer centric personally. I think if it's good for developers, then they should do it. But at the same time, it's kind of like it would be a bad business decision for Sony, because I've seen it in my own family. Like my youngest brother and sister, and they're like, their friends. I'm like pushing Xbox on them because I want to play games with them, but their friends at school want to play PlayStation, so they ended up on PlayStation because that's what their friends have. So they lose that purchase argument.
Exactly.
It's basically the fad right now. A lot of people at the beginning of this generation was talking about Phil Spencer and everybody from Xbox, praising like the launch of the Switch and Zelda and stuff like that. There seems to be a backdoor motivation for that whole, as Mooch would say, kumbaya thing, right? Yeah. But until it's something that's pro Xbox, then it's like, fuck it, we're gonna slam that head right in the door, but there's something in the background where people are trying to get this whole everything together type situation, but in the end, it doesn't really matter, man.
No, it doesn't. I have a friend of mine that plays strictly on PC, okay? He plays just on PC, and he's always said for years now, over a decade, he's like, I don't understand you guys in the console always with the exclusives. Who cares? Blah, 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 this and that. Like, let everybody play everything. It should be that way. And I said to him, I understand you don't like consoles, and I understand you're a PC guy. And he's a civil guy. He doesn't go crazy or anything like that. But he's just like, I said, the thing is, though, how is it if you or I were plucked and put into a CEO position or an executive position at Microsoft or Sony, how do I sell this box when my box does the same thing that the competitors does on gaming, platform, controls, online? It's really hard. Exclusives. Like if there's no exclusives, there's no online exclusivity. I like Xbox. The reason when people go, well, Mooch, why the hell do you like Xbox so much? Stepping away from the Gears and the Halo and the games for a second. I like the controller. I like the online, and those are the number. That's actually 1 and 2. Actually, games for me is probably 3 because that's important to me.
Listen, the controller is number 1 ultimately.
Yes.
And like you said, the online, but the glue to the whole thing is the community and the people that you play with. Like we were talking about our party last night. You know what I mean? Like just sitting in there for 5 minutes, and and your gut is hurting from laughing, and we're laughing and hollering and talking shit.
Gaming's never been more social than it is now.
But you need those communities competing with each other, because that's what's driving all the things we get, from hardware to software to all the improvements to live. If the two aren't completely pitted against each other competing, we as gamers, we don't benefit at all. Crossplay doesn't benefit us. We lose that competition completely.
All these great features you see that come to Xbox Live, and you have Mike and Larry doing those 5-minute skits that they do on YouTube. All those things like, well, these are the new features coming. Those features are exclusive to you, and they benefit you as a player. Go ahead, Craig.
Microsoft is just trying to look like the good guys for a change. I mean, that's
I
all
agree.
It is. I don't really think that they particularly.
But don't forget though, if Sony wants to call their bluff, Microsoft has to play along. So even if
they do, but maybe they're not, because like Jez said, there's Final Fantasy stuff. Final Fantasy said, "Hey, we'd love to put this on Xbox," and it still isn't. So we don't really know how much of that. Yeah, Microsoft likes that on a hugely multi-plat game like Minecraft. But I don't think Microsoft would want that on. And
I said what you said, crap. But remember, I was told I was wrong, because Microsoft made the deal with Nintendo with the whole Minecraft and the soccer cars thing.
Yeah, well, actually, the soccer cars thing came about. The developer said they would only put it on the Switch,
right,
if they agreed to do crossplay, and they were like, whatever you need. So that just goes to show developers want. Here's the thing: developers, like Jess said, it's easier for them to do the coding like that or whatever. Also. It keeps their games alive. It always makes sure you have people to play against. And I think that's why they like it. They want their games to last a long time. And I think it comes down to that a little bit as well. But you're always going to have people like Call of Duty, those type of games, Call of Duty Battlefield.
Don't forget Grand Theft Auto 5, that monster.
Yeah, those games are never going to allow crossplay, because it doesn't make sense for them to, but I can see... realistically, I see very few actual people asking for this.
Right.
It's mostly just in the media or like the developers.
Yeah, the media is making it look like it's like goodwill to gamers.
Well, guys, when it comes to Minecraft, let's just be honest here. The Minecraft community.
New icon. Who made that?
I did, actually.
Okay.
The Minecraft community is a different community. I could definitely see it when it comes to that game. First of all, to have your one game, and you can go into your worlds, whether you're on your mobile, whether you're on your PC, or whether you're on your Xbox, it makes sense for that game. And then to be able to bring all the communities together, because the Minecraft community in and of itself is about working together. When you see all these extraordinary maps and all the stuff that they've built in Minecraft, it's never done by one person. It's always done by like a huge group of people that come together to build this stuff. And with Minecraft, it definitely makes sense, but there's always like a special case scenario, and I think Minecraft is definitely that case. Yeah.
Look, I'll be honest with you. I don't even want, when it comes to like PC especially, I don't want crossplay at all.
No.
I don't care if it's co-op. I don't care if it's no op. I don't want it. You know, like me and Mooch, when we play Gears, if somebody's in our room with PC, they get the boot.
They do get boot.
I mean, that's just the way it is. We like, hey, get on that Xbox. You know what I mean? We play Xbox.
Well, that's what we said to one guy too, and I won't call him out, but he came on his PC and he's like, "But dude," he's like, "Guys, I got it for Xbox." We're like, "Great, get it on Xbox," and we got him back.
Delirium Blades. That's
it was Delirium. It was Delirium.
Damn, you're cold blooded.
He did.
Don't play that dude in Forza Horizon 3 if he is on PC. I'm letting you know right now. He is running that game at 60 FPS, and he will blow by everybody.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, like I don't like that stuff at all. So it's like I'll always be. And then when Halo 6 gets announced, and they're gonna, they're the inevitable crossplay with that. That I'm gonna hate that as well. You know what I mean? Like,
let's not count our chickens before they hatch. It's probably not gonna happen. Crap, that probably won't.
Sea of Thieves. Hey, you don't think so? They're pushing this shit like no other. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like Sea of Thieves. They're like, yeah, it's gonna be crossplay, and you're not even gonna know if they're PC.
No, you won't know, but I mean, I don't think anyone's gonna be able to really outbeat.
As soon as you see that Spartan doing backflips with headshots at the same time in Halo 6, you're gonna be like mouse and keyboard, PC right there, man. And
I don't know. Look, Microsoft seems to be pushing this even more so than developers, because you see Mikey Barra say stuff like, "Yeah, we want PC with PUBG and Xbox crossplay," and PUBG creators like, "Nah, that ain't gonna happen. Keyboard versus keyboard is the way we're going to keep it,"
Well,
so Microsoft are the ones that kind of push that keyboard and mouse, and we'll just keep it as fair as possible, not realizing that they've tried that before with stuff like Shadowrun, and it never works out well.
No, I'm actually shocked.
You're always going to have some assholes that are going to be like, "I'm not scared of those guys. Quit being a pussy. I'm going to go in there and own them." And then they get their ass kicked, and then it causes people to leave the game. You know what I mean? When you get your ass kicked,
how many times you played Call of Duty? It's like, "Man, fucking guy's lagging. There's a lag switch." You're like,
yeah,
really?
Well, dude, even back in my original PlayStation 2 Battlefront 2 days, when with their clan and stuff, we'd be like, "That dude's using the keyboard and mouse mod." You know what I mean? That used to be the thing. Hacks. You know what I mean? Like nobody wants to. If I wanted to play, I'd play on my PC. I like my controller. Yeah, I know people have messaged me before. But crap, you can get keyboard and mouse on Xbox One right now. And it's like this $150, $200 thing that has input lag out the ass. Like nobody's really going to do that, because if they were really that into keyboard and mouse, they would just use a PC. So this whole PC mouse, this is like Microsoft's problem that they run into a lot. They think things are a bigger deal than they actually are. Like Xbox Play Anywhere, they push that shit. I don't know anybody that really likes or uses that. In fact, most people I know are just like, meh. You know what I mean? Sony did that shit too with the Vita and the Cross-Buy and the PS3 and the PS4 version and the Vita version. Nobody cares.
No.
You know what I mean? Like they focus on like this weird stuff that they care about and they get really excited about, and then nobody else really cares about it.
No, I agree.
You'll be lucky if 1% of the populace who are console-based use mouse and keyboard, and 1% is actually saying a lot. I think.
Yeah, here's the thing. Like people are like, "Hey, crap, what about mouse and keyboard support on Xbox One?" I'm like, dude. Where the hell? I guess people have coffee tables and shit, but are people really dying to slap a fucking mouse and keyboard down on their coffee table?
I like how you actually asked me that on a podcast one time. You're like, "Well, Mooch, where are they going to put it?" I'm like, "The coffee table in front of them." And you're like, "All right, fine." You're like, "People have coffee tables." I'm like, "Yes, they
have
do.
coffee tables, right? I don't, but still, like, you know what? Like, where the people are like just, and like what? I guess if you get a wireless one, but otherwise you're gonna have to plug your shit in. Like
so you can sit on your couch with a keyboard in your lap, and then what are you gonna do with this mouse? Where's it?
Yeah, exactly. On your arm or something. Come on, man. Like,
listen, the keyboard and mouse versus the controller is the same thing as when you talk to a car enthusiast versus an automatic versus a standard stick shift. I mean, they both people don't want to cross over. Leave them alone and give the gamer the option. And
can you imagine Crab Gamer Indian style with a keyboard and mouse in his lap? I don't know.
The thing is, dude, look, keyboard and mouse is less about forcing Xbox players to use keyboard and mouse, because that's never going to happen. I see that all the time. It'll always be an option, where it's never going to be like Call of Duty, a feature in Call of Duty where keyboard and mouse players have to play against controller players. That's never ever going to happen.
No,
and
I didn't think that would happen in Gears either, but now here we are.
Yeah, but it's an option. It's not forced.
It is, but they took away options to give you that options. Like you can't just go and play basic team deathmatch all the time now, like how I used to. They make it because that playlist now includes PC. So it's like they did.
So that
well, I mean, it's a big inconvenience for me personally on my favorite game. I'm just saying, like, and I saw your article, which I thought was pretty good, where you made a good point, which was it could dilute the pool of players.
It's not perfect, but
the
idea
like I don't like.
They want to unify the development tool chain across all their devices, and like I said at the start of the podcast, Phil's job is to grow gaming under the Microsoft umbrella, and one way you do that is by having a unified tool chain for developers, so they can be like, okay, I'm going to target UWP because I know that if I make keyboard controls, touch controls, and controller controls, and even HoloLens controls, they'll all work across all the devices. And Minecraft's Better Together update proves that it does work. I mean, it works with every single input you can think of on one code base, and that's the whole idea behind it. It's to persuade more developers to build for the Xbox platform first, because a lot of them are building for PlayStation first right now, which is why we had all these issues at the start of the gen where some Xbox games are 720p, was because they've been ported from PlayStation, which has a slightly different, architecture and stuff like that. But if those games have been made for Xbox or PC first, they generally almost achieve parity, and there's even more updates coming to Xbox One, which should make it fully achieve parity, But that's one of the issues Microsoft had to deal with, and one of the issues Phil Spencer has to deal with is how to grow the platform across all these devices, and it includes mobile as well. They want to. There's going to be a future where everyone's going crazy about the Nintendo Switch right now, and because it's almost a AAA gaming device you can carry around with you at all times.
I love how he corrected himself. It's almost.
Yeah. Hey, I got to tell you what, man. There's a lot of people that are eating some crow on that Switch. Like people saying it's going to sell 132 million. It's getting Doom. It's getting Wolfenstein 2. You know what I mean? It's getting
all Bethesda, man. That's their third party, just straight Bethesda, and that's it.
Yeah, but Doom is 30 frames per second. That's what I read.
Yeah, it is, but it's like you're gonna be able to play that on a handheld. You're gonna be able to play freaking Doom. Think about that. Like, wow,
that's the thing.
It's a AAA. Yeah. It's a AAA endpoint for developers to get games into people's pockets that has traditionally been dominated. Well, okay, not pockets maybe, but you're not going to whip out an Xbox on the train.
Well, no, I'll tell you the truth. If you take off the side paddles, Jez, you're not that far off. It does fit in pockets or easily.
Well, if you're like me and you still rock Janko jeans, it'll definitely fit in your pocket, man. I'm just saying.
You said Janko jeans. Holy shit! What? Hey, 1992 said, "What up, yo?"
Dude, I got people when I walk outside, they're like, "Yo, what are those?" And I'm like, brother, yo, you just get out of the skinnies and get into these, man.
But it's impressive because everybody said that it will never get any third-party support, and it looks like more and more third parties are going to support it because it's doing well. And I think, hey, that's good. That's good for gaming. Whether you're a Nintendo fanboy or not, or fan or not, it's good for gaming in general that these developers are going to have a chance to make more money on their games. And Wolfenstein 2 launching on that date, in my opinion.
It's not day and date.
Isn't it not? It's not day
and
date?
I think it's early next year.
Yeah. Well, still close enough.
Close enough. I'm just saying. I don't want the audience. Crossfire has to be right.
Hey, listen, man. I've been out of the loop for a week. I heard he's getting the game. That's all I know.
It is. Which, don't get me wrong. Let me tell you something. I'm gonna buy Wolfenstein 2 and I'm gonna buy Doom for the Switch because let's be honest. And Jez, I'm just regurgitating what you and Crab just said. This is a tremendous leap forward for all practical purposes. It's an Xbox One day one, PS4 vanilla in your pocket. And that is absolutely, it's amazing and kind of frightening a little because if this does take off, does this encourage Microsoft to make a handheld?
Nah.
Hopefully.
I agree. Why not?
I would like them to make one, but
I'd love that.
It's going to be, if Microsoft makes a handheld, it's going to be Windows based. It's going to be cloud based or something like that. I don't think they're going to make a native hardware. But the thing is, with UWP, you totally could do that because I don't know if you've noticed, but Sea of Thieves has this sort of ridiculous 15 FPS mode for really, really low end hardware. And then you've got games like Resident Evil 7, which I mean, I don't know why you'd ever want to do this, but you can run Resident Evil 7 at 240p if you really want to. So there's UWP features that are designed around smaller, more compact devices. And I think in October, Microsoft are probably going to be unveiling some interesting developments for Windows on ARM, ARM chipsets, which are typically mobile, but it's going to be full Windows running on chipsets that are designed for small compact devices. So I think in the next maybe 2 to 5 years, things are going to get interesting on the handheld front because that's the next step for AAA console gaming. It's the screen that you take with you.
Yeah, and I mean, I can't speak for everybody here. I mean, Jez, I can definitely speak for you. The reason you're even here right now is because you're back from your travels from Germany. I mean, you travel. I mean, you're all over the place. You're from the Northwest Pacific to the UK to Germany and then back again. And I travel a lot for work, and I'm sitting there and I'm like, I'm excited. Yeah, I get to take the Switch with me. I'll play maybe a little bit of Mario, this and that when I take it for travel this fall. But I'm like, man, I would love to have an Xbox like that where I could have a Bluetooth controller, put it on the kickstand, and be able to play games.
Dude, you were talking about that on your laptop for games like Gears and stuff like that, man.
I wouldn't be able to do that. I said I was looking into that. I don't personally have that because, as you know, Xbot, I'm an iMac owner. But so might be a little difficult.
Oh, wow. But I'm leaving. Bye.
Come on, Jez. You know I'm all Apple. But listen, I literally think that this is something that I wouldn't mind seeing because now this isn't cloud in the sky stuff, right, Jez? I mean, this is a big deal because if Nintendo's making a profit and people are buying it, why wouldn't they do the same thing for their favorite Xbox games?
And developers want it. You know, the big AAA console developers, they don't want to be making crappy free-to-play mobile games. They're in it for the art as much as they're in it for the business, but there are a lot of developers who are in it for the art. And of course, they'd like to see a slice of that pocket gameplay, you know. And it'd be a big pushback on mobile because mobile gaming is, in my opinion, destroying core gaming, what we like. I mean, games like Fortnite, okay, they're fun, but there's so much gambling and micropayments in them. It ruins everything, you know. And it's only going to get worse and worse and worse and worse unless Microsoft can get these real experiences onto more devices. And that's what the Switch is doing. And I think that's why the Switch is doing so well, is because people of a certain age who are really busy, they can sneak their Switches around their lifestyle now. You know, you can take it to the toilet, you could take it to work, and when your boss isn't looking, you know, fire up Doom for half an hour. I can never do that with an Xbox or a phone. You know, play like some crappy mobile game on my phone maybe, but I don't want to play crappy mobile games.
Yeah, would I rather play Doom or would I rather play Candy Crush? I'll take Doom.
Exactly. Or would you rather play Mario Kart or whatever? You know,
Exactly. Now I want to change subjects here slightly, and I'm going to start with Moxxie because it's we've been dominating the microphone here, and I want to hear her opinion on it. Moxxie, I don't know if you guys did this on your channel. This subject, but Pachter came out recently. Michael Pachter, I know you guys kind of went off on the media a couple weeks ago, but Pachter came out and said that now his prediction for PS5 is 2020. My thing is this, before we even, because he's been more wrong than right, so that's not really what I'm holding this conversation to. My biggest concern for Xbox, I look at the PS5 coming out, and I think of myself, if I'm sitting at Microsoft right now, do we launch against the PS5 the day the PS5 comes out? Are they going to wait a year because there's enough juice in the box to be able to keep up with what the PS5 has in the X? I mean, where do you think Microsoft kind of stands with when the PS5 comes out? And do you also think Pachter's correct with his 2020 prediction?
I think the 2020 is probably accurate, maybe even later than that, because, you know, if you look at the way that they launched the Pro, they kind of ended up stealth releasing the Pro. And, you know, until they kind of had that awkward timing where the Xbox One X came out in the same time frame and had been developed further than what they had come up with, that was going to be their big center, and it was going to be for a while. So it really comes down to budget, because now PlayStation has to come out with the massive, unbelievable budget that it takes to make the next console. And then, of course, the higher you go, so if you try to one-up Microsoft, which they definitely will, you know, how much money do you have to do that? So then how close does it come to what the X is doing? But I've also heard that there is another Xbox like already in development. They're already planning on the next Xbox. So I think they will continue to out-innovate each other. And I think the time frame will start to narrow a little bit. I think that they'll start coming out with the next console a little bit more quickly after, you know, because they've kind of taken away the generations idea slightly.
And you've mentioned this on your show many times. There's, you know, cost versus functionality. And the problem is that if PS5 was to launch, and anyone can chime in at this point, I'm just saying, if PS5 was to launch at 2020, and if they came out, let's just use ridiculous numbers, an 8 terabyte system, okay, or teraflop business, that doesn't really necessarily give them a leg up tremendously over the 6 and what the X, because I think the X is actually I kind of chuckle internally whenever I see a developer go, and the X is already being stressed out. No, it's not. It's being stressed out as far as what you know is in the box. Do you see Albert Pinello? If he smiles anymore, his lips will reach his ears. Listen, you know, he knows what's inside that box. That box is future ready. So if Sony's going to launch in the PS5 in 2020, I think whatever they put in the box that's still cost effective for the consumer is still going to be what the X can still perform at. So Microsoft could possibly launch the year after with better goods inside.
Well, yeah, Mooch, here's the thing. This is where I think Xbox was genius when they did the X, because they didn't, we were talking about, the CPU, GPU, Ryzen, all that good stuff. We do know if PlayStation, if Sony, they keep with going with AMD, the next PlayStation is going to be it's going to be a powerhouse. It's going to have Ryzen. You might even think about the Navi architecture when it comes to GPUs and stuff like that. But this is where Phil Spencer already said that we're already working on the next one. So, when it hits like 2020 or whatnot, the Xbox One X will be that entry level, and they'll already have that Ryzen powered, possibly Navi based GPU coming out with their premium Xbox One X2 or whatever they want to call it. They have put themselves in the driver's seat now when it comes to power, and I don't see like Xbox and Microsoft ever relinquishing that seat anymore. You know what I'm saying? It was a genius move, man.
Now, Jez, what do you hear when it comes to futuristic talk about? Because listen, Phil came out about not a year ago, maybe a little less than a year ago, but it was a while ago. And somebody had asked him, hey, with all this PS5 talk, what's going on? He said the successor to the Xbox One X is already being, is in R&D. And we all know that it takes about, 4 to 5 years to get the next box out. But I think that tends to dwindle down with technology it's not coming to a standstill by no means, but technology is not moving as fast as it was, the past decade. So they know what they're going to put in the next box. They can do it in a faster turnaround. The question is, will it be affordable, and when will that date be? Are you hearing anything? Because PS5 is being talked about.
Yeah, I'm not hearing anything specifically about the next Xbox console other than that, like Moxxie says, there is going to be one,
Absolutely.
But the thing is, we're coming up to some really weird things happening to Windows in the next 2 to 3 years or so. Microsoft are completely retooling and reimagining what Windows is. They're turning it into like a modular operating system where, one of the biggest issues with Windows right now is that it's modular, by the way. And so like, for example, you've got the Xbox operating system. And this whole thing's sort of inspired by that a little bit, because the Xbox One runs a little chunk of Windows that's basically all the pieces of Windows that it needs. Although if you go through the Xbox operating system, there are lines of code for Windows Phone. There are lines of code for, there's just lines of code for stuff that needn't be there,
Right.
Because it is Windows at the end of the day. And so one of the ways the Xbox One manages to be so cheap comparatively to a PC is because you don't need powerful Intel chips to run the version of Windows that it's running, because all the crap is stripped out of it basically. So there's no Win32 APIs on the Xbox One, which make Windows really, really bloated. So what Microsoft is doing is they're making Windows itself more like the Xbox One operating system, where a hardware manufacturer can choose like, okay, I don't need the Win32 APIs, let's get rid of those. I want the Xbox interface, let's put that in, and I want access to the Windows Store, let's put that in, and I pay Microsoft money to get access to that, blah blah blah. So like a hardware manufacturer can design their own operating system using bits and pieces of Windows, and Microsoft internally refer to it as the Andromeda operating system, and we've got a big article on Windows Central about it if you're interested. But what that means for Xbox is it's hard to say, and I think part of that is talking about, one of the reasons Phil Spencer's on the executive board is because all of Microsoft is pulling towards this future of a modular computing where bits of Windows can be put into any kind of device,
right.
And everything's going to be cloud powered in the distant future. And I sent Tim Dog a picture from SpaceX the other day, and SpaceX have this plan to like cage the whole planet in satellites. So like the whole world is covered in Wi-Fi basically. Mm-hmm. So like in a future where internet speeds are super fast and ubiquitous, if we don't blow ourselves up in World War III in the next couple of years, that is, you're not even going to need hardware underneath your TV. All you need is a screen. Your phone will just be a screen. You'll stream your operating system from the cloud. The whole operating system, you'll stream it. So Microsoft's preparing for that, which is why they're pushed so hard on Azure. And other companies like Google and Apple, like this is one area where they don't have such a big advantage. This is also a reason why they purchased Mixer, because they've got the image streaming technology there. And if Mixer gets faster, eventually you could use Mixer to play your own games, not just stream other people's games.
Yes, I said that when they first bought that lag, the whole kind of like no lag and stuff like that, or the very minimal lag. I was like, they're going to use this technology in other spaces when it comes to Microsoft.
You know what's great about it is that it's funny that you're able to have this conversation now and people are actually listening to it and they're saying, I can see that happening. But it was funny when cloud technology was talked about back in 2012, it was almost like hocus pocus. So it's amazing how when you say that now, and as you're saying it, Jez, I'm envisioning it, because if that is true and Wi-Fi is all around us, you're right. If you look at your phone, I don't care which phone you have in front of you, everything below that screen is the hardware. That hardware is not necessary. Everything
you'll have a screen with a chip in it.
That's right.
To deliver the data. That's all you'll need. So like that's why Microsoft's pushing so hard on Azure. That's why Satya Nadella is CEO, because they know the future is cloud if internet speeds keep getting faster. None of this technology we use today is going to matter. It won't matter how fast any of your technology is, because Microsoft can always have a faster quantum computer server farm. I mean, we're talking 10 to 15 years out here.
Absolutely.
But they're thinking about that stuff today. So the goal today is to keep building the Xbox fan base and to try and win users to the Windows Store, get people invested in OneDrive, Office, and Xbox Live subscriptions, and get people invested in the ecosystem. Like, I couldn't switch to PlayStation now, even if I wanted to, because I've got 400 Xbox digital games. They've locked me in. I'm their customer now for life. There's nothing that could make me switch to PlayStation now, because I've invested so much money in Xbox.
You don't have to switch, man. I mean, you can have both.
Come on, bro. You don't buy games. You're media. Stop that.
That's so great. But let me ask this. Okay, so before I go to the next subject, one last question for Jez, just with everything you've said. Jez, if there is a 2020 release of PS5, when does the successor come out to Xbox One X?
I don't know, man. It's hard to say. I mean, like I said,
do they have to match Sony, Jez, or they don't have to?
I don't think they do have to match Sony. Because, like I said, we're moving towards this ecosystem war now, where people are locked in. Maybe people have multiple consoles, and if you're invested in multiple ecosystems, and people will be invested in multiple digital ecosystems,
yes.
They might just think, you know what, I'll skip the PS5 because I only play the exclusives, and I'll just stick with my PS4, and keep my Xbox as the console that's upgraded. Whereas other people will be like, I'm going to upgrade to the PlayStation 5 and maybe have an Xbox One S on the side for the S games I want to play and stuff like that. The whole industry is sort of shifting, and I think that's partially why Nintendo has gone the mobile route, because that's the logical next step for AAA gaming, is to get those digital experiences into your pocket. You're
100% right. If they make that tablet stronger, think about it, guys. The tablet is the console for folks that aren't.
They did have a blueprint for an Xbox tablet or whatever.
Yes, they did. But I mean, you can go to your friend's house now, bring that tablet, plug it into the television, and you're playing. It's portable, 100%.
With talking about the Surface Mini originally was an Xbox tablet. That's how it was branded.
Wow.
And, when you guys talking about the PS5, Jez and Mooch, see, what I like about this is with Xbox kind of doing away with generations, right? A few years down the line, like I said, the Xbox One X will be the entry level. And that's where I don't think that they need to match a PlayStation when the next PlayStation drops, because their entry level is already going to be that quality machine, and then they'll come out with their next premium maybe a year afterwards. But I don't think it's gonna matter pretty much at all anymore with what they're doing with the whole generational thing, man.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter anymore.
No, it doesn't. That's feasible. I'll take this down to another conversation here to get a little bit lighter. This is kind of an interesting thing. So I'm a big fan of Seamus Blackley, but everyone calls him the Godfather of Xbox.
Oh, I can't wait for this. Oh my God.
Well, the father of Xbox. Yeah.
Or the father. Thank you. But I will say this much. Well, you're not going to like what I have to say, Xbox. He's making the Duke return.
That's becoming the trend.
He's been pushing for it for a while.
He has. I think it's great and novel, and if you have like some sort of a collection, I think it's a phenomenal idea to get.
With the original Xbox coming backwards compatible, it makes sense.
Well,
yes, it does.
It makes sense in an aesthetics thing. It doesn't make sense as far as me enjoying where my hands are.
Well, I mean, you don't have to get it; it's optional.
Everything's optional, crap. I mean, but what I'm saying is that. But what I'm saying, this is kind of an unnecessary option. I think a lot of people were glad that this thing left.
You've got original Xbox games coming back. That's a lot of people are going to be interested in getting it for that.
I have the original Xbox hooked up. I play some games on it sometimes, and
they're going to play and look better. They're going to play and look better on the X though. So
correct, but I can use my Xbox One controller.
Guys, here's something.
Yeah, but you can use the Duke as well. A lot of people like that controller.
Yeah. Well, first of all, I was a fan of the Duke with the original Xbox. When they moved over to the S, I was just like, I'm happy with the controller I have right now. But here's the thing: I don't think a lot of people are thinking of. With games like Halo, right? Where you got to take your finger, if you don't have, the $150 or whatever it is to get an Elite controller or whatever, you have to take your finger off the trigger to throw the grenade. Now with the black and white button being up there, which is essentially the left bumper, right bumper, you can keep your finger on the trigger, and then it just depends on the animation motion and how fast.
Can you button map on your controller now? You can change that to anything you want.
But like that, I don't want to go and sit in there and then relearn all that. Here's
the way I look at the Duke.
Buttons to the face.
But here's the way I look at the Duke. Okay, the Duke controller to the 360 to the One is the same as when the Model T started with a crank to a key to a touchless pad we have in the car now. I don't want to go back to cranking the car and be like, contact.
You don't have to, though.
I don't want to do that before I start my car. But this Duke is like the most uncomfortable thing. A lot of people are going
to get it and hang it on play it above their fireplace and stuff like that.
I said that. I think it's a great collector's item.
Yeah, it's a collector's item. That's all.
But I wouldn't say I can't wait to jam out on it. It's.
I can't wait, man. I'm going to be playing. I'm going to be playing on it all the time.
You must have some huge mitts. I can't.
I might be going hands-on with it tomorrow because they're showing it off at EGX.
I like the digital center. I think that's pretty neat. That's something I think all the controllers should have. I mean, but a lot of people throw their controllers and drop them.
I wonder if you can actually program what is going to be shown on that screen on your controller. That would be cool if it comes with like 4 or 5 presets or something like that you can just kind of switch off, do the old school Xbox logo, and go
maybe
through
like a web browser, and you can just watch a porn video while you're playing games.
Dude, man, your KD ratio on Halo is gonna drop like a motherfucker if you do that, man.
Mine's already 0.50.
He's like, why is my button sticking?
It's funny. People in the chat never cease to amaze me. They're like, Mooch, you don't have to buy it. Thank you. I believe that right was given to me in 1776. I don't really understand. I guess it's a lot of nostalgia again, folks.
What happened to your nostalgia, Mooch?
It is. It's out there. No, it's great. Listen, I'm not even saying I might not pick it up for the nostalgia to have it, but I don't know if it's necessary. I just see a lot of people being like, I can't wait to play. I might. It depends on how cool the digital screen is. Jez, I'll be waiting for your report. But I mean that's one thing. But the other thing I want to talk about is who on the panel is getting or is going to attempt. Let me put it that way. Who is going to attempt to get the SNES Classic next Friday? I am one of them. Is anybody else?
Yeah, me too.
I've got it. I give 2 shits about it.
I was really excited for it in the beginning when they talked about like the games fitting your screen and stuff like that. But come to find out, they still got like the borders on the side. It still has the
borders. That kind of disappointed me a little too. But
that disappointed me to the point where like I would like one, but I'm not going to go out there and start beating up people's grandmas and stuff like that or wait in line for it either. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Well, I mean, Nintendo's come out and said, please do not subscribe to these people that are on eBay charging $1,100. We're going to have plenty this time around. And they're actually bringing the NES Classic back next year. So they're like, you do not need to pay $800, $900, $1,000 for these things. They're not just like we put a few out collector.
And people still will. And people
they might, because some people still want to, you know, we're in a very entitled era in this world right now. So people feel like I have to have it now. Listen, if it's not there when I go, because I'm going to get Cuphead, you go in, you say, hey, let me get that and that, bang, all set.
Cuphead, yeah. Ooh, I can't wait to die on that opening part. And
you're not going to like that game at all.
I'm going to hate it. I know.
I just have a feeling. But I mean, what about Moxxie? What about you? Are you into the SNES Classic? Is on your radar at all?
Yeah, definitely. I was an absolute SNES kid, 100%. I played it all the time. So, you know, I think it's going to be one of those things. It's like all of these, basically, you could group them together and call them nostalgia launches, and they're doing tons of them now. You know, all of them are kind of going to come back to the same thing, which is it's going to be cool for a bit. But yeah, I'll definitely get one to play it for a while, and then it'll probably sit on the shelf like everything else like that.
Exactly. No, I mean, this is going to get a couple good weeks of usage out of it. I mean, I think that it's got that nostalgia factor. It has the games programmed onto it that I personally played a lot as a kid, and I was in Nintendo. I know I'm going to also get a lot of boos and hisses from the panel, but I was more of I was a Nintendo guy over a Sega guy. And that's just so these, yeah. So thank you. All right, Xbot. But like, I like those games more, and to be able to actually have an authentic, okay, not a third party SNES controller back in my hand coming right off the presses from Nintendo and being able to play some of these games. And I'm hoping to show them to the kids. My kids are really young. I'm hoping I keep trying to like spoon feed them Nintendo, and they're always like, you know what I mean? It's almost like the way they eat like new food. They taste it, they smell it, and then they're like, nah, fuck it, I'm going back to Xbox. I'm like, oh, damn it. So I can't like keep the kids on Nintendo, which is funny because I think Nintendo and the Switch and the games they sell are still selling to us, the kids that bought them when we were young. I don't think, you know what I mean? I don't think anybody there's none of my son's friends that are like, you getting a Switch, man? You getting a Switch? Yeah, except for Pokemon Go, but that was just because the news, the media made it an epidemic. But I mean, like, I
never played that.
Me neither. Proud to say that too. But anyways, you know, it's just like that's my whole thing. Crap, are you getting the SNES Mini? We haven't talked about that.
I'm gonna try, but I mean, I doubt it. I tried to get the pre-order, but they were gone every time.
Well, the pre-order, they did their little, you know, 1-2 buckle my shoe crap that Nintendo always pulls, right?
Yeah.
Like, oh, I'm sorry, there's only 10 of them. No, you have 1 million of them. But okay,
and I realize they're gonna come out again with the NES Mini next year, but those won't be as sought after because they're second print or whatever. So. I mean,
well, but see, I'm not getting it for resale value, or I don't have a museum in my house to gaming. You know what I mean? Like, I just want it to play. And I mean, I have my original NES. I've said this a number of times on Crossfire, and I've got over 100 games downstairs, cartridges in their slots the way they came. I don't have them on display. They're in a closet in a box just so the dust doesn't attack it. But it's not like, you know, I have anything like glorious to look at. But I want to get it to enjoy it. Hopefully the kids can enjoy it.
Let's also not forget, Mooch, that Star Fox 2 is on there, and that was never released.
Holy
and that's
shit,
a big
Star
deal.
Fox 2 actually is a big deal. Actually, the little tidbit for those of you not following on social media.
First one, though, man.
Oh, I love Star Fox.
Oh, yeah, I was a big Star Fox.
Yeah, I loved it. Come on, when they were like, that was like the big deal. Like when we're talking about photorealism now, they were talking about like 64 polygons. I was like, holy shit.
You know, everybody was talking about that at that point in time, and my whole thing was talking to my friends and stuff because they were like, oh yeah, Star Fox this and that. I was like, dude, I don't really want to fly triangles. Like that
apparently one of Iwata's favorite games at Nintendo was the golf game, and it built into all of our Switches. If you own a Switch right now, you have the original Nintendo Golf, which I played as a kid.
How do you boot that shit up?
I don't know. It's on the web. It's not hard to get to, but they hid it in the software, so it's actually on your Switch, which is cool. I mean, like, yeah, I mean that's a neat thing. I like it when companies do that. If you guys remember Black Ops 2, when that came out, remember when you were at the beginning screen there, if you jiggle your analog sticks, your hands come loose and you can get up from the chair and then you can walk over and play a top-down shooter they had in the back.
You could also play another game as well. It was like that word-only game. I forget what the hell it was. But,
yes. I mean, like, you put little mini games like that into a game, and I don't know, maybe it's just because I came from that era. I'm like, holy shit, that's great.
Well, Project Gotham had Geometry Wars.
Did it really?
Yes, it did.
Yeah, it had Geometry Wars 1 and 2 in the last Project Gotham that they did. There were arcades in your garage, and you can walk up and you can play the full games.
Okay, that's very cool. That's speaking of full games you can play. I'm hearing, and I'm not.
You can play Zork. That's what it is.
Zork, yes,
as well. So you can play Dead Ops Arcade and Zork
that's pretty
as well.
Cool. That's very cool.
Hey, I'm gonna have to bail, guys, because it's nearly 2 a.m. and I've got to be up in.
Jez, thank you so much. Jez, you're taking someone to. Is it a game? It's a gaming event.
Yeah, it's EGX. It's actually run by Eurogamer, I think, but it's getting pretty big in the UK.
I've heard more and more
about Eurogamer, huh? So funded by Sony, but a bump.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, Sony does usually have a much bigger presence than Xbox there, but there's logical stuff. I'm going to take my little cousin, who I'm trying to indoctrinate into being a gamer, and so far it's working pretty well.
Good nice, Jess. Thank you for coming on the show, and we'll definitely plug you at the end when we do outros. I'll make sure to mention where you are, where people can find you.
Thanks very much for having me. And,
thank you, Jess.
Always a pleasure, brother.
Okay.
Xbox royalty right there, folks. Xbox royalty. Do appreciate Jez coming on the show. And I just have one or two more subjects I want to kind of talk about. This is a big deal that people need to hear about that are in the chat and listening to the show. Somewhere in the United States, I don't know which Best Buys, but the Xbox One X is going to be on display this weekend, I'm hearing. Crap, do you know where is it? It's not all cities, right? It's going to be major cities, but I heard 200 locations.
Yeah, you have to search for it and then see which ones are doing like this event where you're going to be able to go there and play the Xbox One X. Let's see, the Xbox One X Best Buy.
I mean, I think that's a big deal. That's a good thing. That's Microsoft putting their best foot forward and letting people know that you can go out there, you can try these games. We're not afraid to show it off. Like when you see a company do that in the gaming world, you know they have tremendous confidence. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, I think somebody said to me, Mooch, I'm glad they're doing that. I just hope Best Buy actually uses a 4K TV.
Yeah.
You know, so, I mean, I will say I do hope that Microsoft is organizing and orchestrating everything here. I'm assuming that they have their finger on the pulse. But that's a very cool thing. Is anyone know if it's on the panel if it's going to be near you? Is it local to your area? Have you guys heard anything?
They don't have any in Florida, apparently.
Well, they did, not anymore. But yeah, I mean, that was
Arizona, California, Colorado, Maryland, Massachusetts, Michigan, Minnesota, Missouri, New Jersey, New York, North Carolina, Ohio, Oregon, Texas, Utah, Washington, Wisconsin.
So I'm assuming they're all going to be in the major cities in those respected areas too, but it's definitely worth making a phone call. SGX is funny. Well, you know, I mean, I don't know. I'm going to check my local Best Buy and see what's going on. I recommend you guys give a call. Check it out. Go see it. I mean, I think they're going to put a hell of a show on, especially since it's not going to be using old hardware as far as TVs. Should be latest and greatest. And I don't know. I was just psyched to see them actually doing that. Assassin's excited. You said Wisconsin, crap.
Yeah, you can play Super Lucky's Tale, Rocket League, Final Fantasy 15, Minecraft, FIFA, Forza, Madden. Woo! Yeah,
that's good shit. That's very good shit. But
I'm still waiting.
I'm like, yeah, man. I've been there, done that.
Yep, been there. Listen to Southie. We don't all get to go hang out. Phil actually brought that to your house and you tried it.
It's like, hey, Sal, check this out, man.
Hey, I actually got a take-home console here in my house, but I'm not supposed to say that. No, I'm kidding.
I don't a lot of people were just like, "Oh shit, we gotta go visit South this weekend." Fuck Best Buy. But
party at South's house, everybody.
Him and Rand do. If anybody, it would be him and Rand.
I know this is not gaming related, but I'm going to see It tonight because everyone said you gotta go see It. So I'm going.
You gotta
go
see the baby.
You gotta see the baby.
Go see It. Right. They all float.
Well, crap. Did you go see the movie yet?
Hell no. Hell no.
Wait, crap, that's not your thing?
I mess with crap.
No, I don't like
Twitter
clowns
all the time.
I don't like clowns.
Yeah.
Man, look, when I saw that original It, I had already had better experiences with clowns because there was like this South clown painting in my grandma's house, and they had like a creepy clown doll sitting around and stuff. So yes, I hated clowns. They freaked me out. Then I saw the original It. Like, I don't know why my parents would let like an 8-year-old watch that movie, but I watched it. And yes, it freaked me the hell out. And I don't like clowns. It's like a legit thing. It's not like a stupid thing. I just don't like clowns.
People don't like clowns. Really don't like clowns. Yeah. I mean, clowns can be creepy, hence the whole movie premise.
They bother me. Yeah, they freak me out.
I'm sorry, guys. Crap.
I know, right? It's clowns.
I got a balloon for you, crap.
No thanks.
So good.
So yeah, like I you know,
yeah, movie, you could blow it.
Yeah, that movie looks good, but it's just not really my thing. You know, just
No, shout out to Luke. Luke has been promoting it for weeks. So
everybody says it's really good, so I'm happy that it's good. And they're doing a sequel next year.
And yes, you're damn right they're doing a sequel. As much money as that fucking movie's making.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Dude, the new Pennywise is so freaking creepy, yo. Oh my goodness,
so good.
What's with the girls being all hot for the Pennywise? I don't get that. Like, man, I go down there with Pennywise any day, and I'm like, why? I don't get it. Man,
yeah, I'm not seeing that either. But I'm going to start my outros because our outros will take a good half hour. Let me start with one of our guests, the guest that's left. Moxxie, listen, thanks for coming on, to be honest with you. It was outstanding to have Avers on a few weeks back. Having you on tonight has been outstanding. You guys do great content, and I never miss one of your shows. Let everybody know where they can find you, because I know a lot of people in the chat were like, who's the girl on the podcast? Like, that's amazing. There's actually a woman on the podcast.
Oh my stars, a woman on the podcast.
There's a woman here. It's like, yes, there is. But where can we find you, Moxxie?
Yeah, so first of all, thanks for having me on. It's been a blast, and I'm a huge fan, so really awesome. And you can find me. So the YouTube channel is G4G Media, and there's dashes between the G's and the 4. You can also find me on Twitter, and I've got the YouTube channel linked in my Twitter bio as well. And it's at Moxxie, which has 2 X's _ G4G Media, no dashes on that one. And then we're working, actually, shout out to Avers. He's actually working on a website as we speak. So we're going to start putting some content up on a website as well. So that's coming soon. So.
You know what I love about G4G? You guys do something really great. A lot of times, like me and Craft, we outsource a lot of our stuff and this and that, and we do a lot of this because we do like too many podcasts, probably, but we're always talking. So we have a lot of that. You guys do everything in-house. You're like that like restaurant that makes everything fresh. You got your own person doing your website. You got your own set. You got your own camera. You guys do your own editing. So my hat goes off to you guys. That is a lot of work.
Well, Moochie, you're gonna link them, right?
Absolutely.
There you go.
Yeah, it is a lot of work, but it's been so awesome. It's a lot of fun. So we appreciate the support so much.
Well, I'm glad we can actually try and get you a little bit.
The only
more,
link we see so far in Mooch's thing is his Bungie, his Destiny clan.
I do have my Bungie clan.
That's the only thing I got my Destiny 2 clan.
He said you're going to. I always go back when I edit. That's the thing that I copy and paste from week to week.
Mooch, yo, Mooch, aren't we full on that clan though? Isn't
it is 100? But I mean, I always leave it there because listen. The thing about the clan, I'm not going to get into Destiny on the outros, but like people are always like, well, hey, my brother just started a clan, so I'm going to go over there. So when I have an open seat, I just want people to know that we want to keep 100 strong. So, and we are at 100.
Shit, now. I'm mooching hardcore, man. You got some hardcore Destiny people in there. I'm staying in the clan to get the rewards.
Absolutely, man. Stay in the Mooch clan. Mooch
My
maniac.
brother, who's a Mooch maniac, started a clan, quit the clan, and said, "Craig, you're going over to join with me and Mooch, and let's go."
I'm a big fan of your brothers too. Trust me. Crap, love that one. Right, that's a great story right there in itself. Southbound and Down, buddy. Always good to have you, man. You keep everything completely lit. I think you invented the word lit. So thanks for being here.
I got to keep it popping. You know what I'm saying?
Keep it popping.
You do, bro. Yes, you do. Thanks. Where can people find you, man? Southie's hard to find sometimes.
He's on the
you know what? I'm at the tier. What happened was, you know what? You can catch me on Twitter. Sometimes I do my little Twitter sabbaticals and stuff. After the whole TXR dissolving.
I heard you and Warrior were going to team up for 3-minute podcasts.
Yeah, but it sounded too much like his sex life, so I was like,
here we go. Southie, really? Southie's pouring that rum tonight. Damn.
I'm on fire, baby. You can hit me up on Twitter, Southbound110. You can hit me on Xbox Live South, or you can find me on RDX on Tuesday nights.
Very cool. Very cool. Always good. Actually, RDX, great show. Great show. Shout out to Dealer. Clowns, buddy, 4 Guys with Quarters. I was on 2 weeks ago. Had a good time. Been hanging out actually with Assassin playing Destiny. You guys got everything going on. Where can people find 4 Guys?
Yeah, every Thursday between 7 or 7:30. We still haven't got the time down. But yeah, YouTube, the internet, and we're reworking on the site right now, so don't get paranoid and think we dissolved. Inferno is just on a work break, and I'm the one running the ship a little bit, and I beat Assassin in Monopoly. Just want to throw that out there last night. So yeah, so check us out every Thursday between 7 and 7:30 p.m. YouTube.
Very cool, very cool. And the man, the myth, the legend, Xbot 448. Xbot,
what's going on?
Where can people find you, bro?
Guys, it was a lot of fun coming back on Crossfire. My family obligations are done, at least for the foreseeable future. But I do have a show that I show. It's on my channel every Saturday, 7 p.m. It's called The Next Podcast. We have gameplay to watch while we're going through the gaming news. It is the True Gamers Podcast. And I'm on multiple shows, you know, Crossfire, of course, a little show called BGST. You guys might have heard of it. CCC podcast on Wednesday mornings. But if you want to find out exactly when all those go live, just follow me on Twitter at Xbot448. I put them all up before the show goes live, and you can just go ahead and click on the links and come in and watch some really, really good gaming podcasts. Yeah.
Very cool, very cool. And the next guest, that's the usual suspect, Senor Boombastic. Boom, what's up, buddy? Where can people find you, bro? Because you've been pretty active yourself lately on social media.
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter at Mr. Boomstick XL. You can also find me on Coffee, Casuals, and Consoles with Xbot and his lovely wife Mel. Wednesday morning.
We are the debaters on that, man.
Yes, we do have fun.
The master debaters.
Ba-da-bum.
I think South's been hanging out with No Chills.
Well, what? Did I say something wrong?
What? What do you mean? That's cool, Boom. Awesome. I noticed you've been more and more active, and it's been cool to see you this
I have to say, man, I've watched Boom blossom over the last few weeks, and the thing is, he's very, very passionate, and he supports everybody unconditionally, and it's a beautiful thing to be able to see somebody in the community like that.
Southbound. And again, I really do appreciate you saying that. That means a lot to me. And what I love about this community is everyone supports everybody, and I think that's so important to do.
No, it really is, Boom. And honestly, you have been like, you're going to get like a nickname if you don't keep it up. You're going to be, we already have the Pope. You know what I mean? You're going to be the bishop. I'm not sure what's going to happen, but
it's the Cardinal.
The Boom. Cardinal Boom. Oh, I like that.
It's always going to get the Pope blessing.
J Dubs, we need a new gamer pick. Cardinal Boom.
The Cardinal Boom.
Because I let Crap's going to do a little plug for myself as well. Crap, where can people find you? And we got a good weekend coming up, too.
Crap Gamer Reviews, so you guys go check that out. I have some videos that came out today. I also did a Forza 7 impressions video, so check that out as well. Yeah.
That demo is amazing, man.
It is. Like, I have to say, they really nailed it. The only negative that I could think of was it took a long time, a little bit longer than I would like to actually get into a race. Like, it's like loading. So I don't know. Hopefully that's like worked out. But yeah, game looks phenomenal, even on the S. I liked all the modes. It was cool. The weather was really cool. Like the dynamic part where it starts off kind of cloudy, then it pours, and then it kind of clears up, and you get that sunshine poking through. Like, man, phenomenal game on that. We got MNC Mornings back this Sunday, so you guys are going to want to check that out as well, because it's going to be a fun time back doing our thing. Missed last week, obviously, with the hurricane, but yeah, gonna have some fun. So you guys want to definitely check that out.
Hashtag fun.
Hashtag fun, folks. Sunday mornings. No, I'll end it with that, saying the same thing. MNC Mornings will be Sunday on Crab's channel. We'll be back here next Friday at 7 o'clock. Big shout out to Jez Gordon, Windows Central. Check him out.
I got to say, the last time when we didn't have MNC Mornings, I did not know what the hell to do with my Sunday morning, dude.
I know your coffee felt lonely, didn't it?
I was like, hold on. We got so much time to kill, and usually, like, time flies by on Sunday. So it'll be good to have you guys back, man.
No, man, it felt weird not being on, so I totally agree with you. But do check out Jez Gordon. He's on Windows Central, and I believe, I'll double-check, but I believe he's at Jez Gordon as well on Twitter. Thanks again to Moxxie. Thanks to Avers, because they do these things together. G4G Media, check them out. And we will see you next Friday, Crossfire, 7 o'clock. Thank you and good night.